with news of a potential season 5 coming out. I don't know if you're aware of this.
I was not aware of that.
You were not aware of it? Yeah, because
No.
I wanted to save it for this.
You've saved this till now.
Because I heard, because of news of season 5, there
Yeah.
could be a season 5. I wanted to do a retrospective of the entire Telltale Walking Dead series. Obviously started out 2012 with season 1, and then most recently, what is it, 2019 or 2018 with the final season,
Both.
season 4.
Started in 2018, finished 2019.
And it's been ages.
Yeah.
And because I saw that on, I don't know if they're doing something with Facebook, is what, but I just know that there's something coming out Walking Dead related, and it might be, I think it's the same studio who did it. I think it's still Telltale.
What, the same like team?
I'm not sure if it's the same team, but I know they're doing something like it, and it's I don't know if it's even connected to Clementine's story, but it might be its own standalone thing, like season 3, which I'm sure we all know went swimmingly. But regardless, I wanted to do this just because I think I've got nothing better to do, and why not?
And it's such a great game. There's so much to talk about.
It is a great game, and Ed, should I say Ed or should I use his
go
pseudonym?
ahead. That's fine.
So then Ed, he doesn't really play video games that much, but I showed him Walking Dead games, and you think that like they're your favorite? That's your favorite game series?
It is my
now.
favorite game now of all time.
Yeah,
Absolutely, unquestioned.
If for context's sake, he didn't actually play the games. I played the games, and he watched and
I
was
have
like,
played them now.
Oh yeah,
I remember I bought it after. That's how good the game was.
That's fair.
The game was so good that I played it with Christian. And I don't know if you want
You can't say
that.
my
I wanna-
name, bro.
okay,
I
okay,
work
that's
for the
good, okay,
fucking
that's good.
Iranian government, bro.
It was so good that I played it with him, and then even though I knew what happened, I still bought the game for myself just so I could,
Have it and own it.
Yeah, have it.
And
and talk to it whenever I want
it's to give money to the people who made it.
Yeah,
so
'cause
that
it's so
they
good.
know that when you spend money on it, they know that this is working.
Yeah.
Money's being spent on it. But I think what we want to do is we want to go chronological order, and then we want to go with our tier list, and then also some discussion about the Clementine book that came out recently, which I haven't read.
Yeah.
But Ed has a lot of
I haven't read
opinions
it,
on.
actually.
You've watched someone
I
read
watched
it.
someone read it, and I'm glad I did because now. Well, you know what? We'll save the opinions for later. We'll save the.
That's
opinions.
fair enough. That's
maybe
fair
I
enough.
love it. Maybe I hate it.
Maybe he's a
You'll
massive fan of
you
the
just
direction
you
that
just
was
have
taken.
to wait. You just have to wait for my answer.
Anyway, I want to start
Highly
with
anticipated.
season 1, episode 1. Now, I played it all the way back in the day, like 2013,
Yeah.
around that time.
Wow.
I know.
Crazy.
And I was that game fucking... I genuinely... I don't think I could get past the first episode when I first played it.
Wait, can I quickly ask a question? Because I actually don't know this. When you played it for the first time, were you playing it as it came out? So did you play episode 1, had to wait several weeks for episode 2, or did you play it season 1 soon after the whole thing came out? So you got to play season 1, season 1, episode 1, 2, 3.
I think I played it when it all came out, because I would not have had the patience to
right.
wait in between
In fact,
episodes.
I still don't know how people did that.
No.
Obviously me, people have to wait longer than me. I only just started playing it last year.
That's true. Well,
And I'm already like excited for anything that comes out.
well, you're lucky you got
Later.
you got the definitive edition, which has all 4
Got
seasons.
to play them all within months, so that was very, very lucky.
Well, I think with season 1, I do want to say that it's such a strong starting off point, and it basically created an entire new genre of game.
Yeah. I mean, if season 1 wasn't there, the rest of the game, if it wasn't as good as it was, if it wasn't as highly praised as it, there wouldn't be any other game.
And it's like there were games that came before that like copied that had the idea of like the the 4-wheel dialogue options and things like that. But nothing did it as well as the first season did.
Story-driven tales catered by whatever the player chooses.
Yeah, with like minimal kind of gameplay.
That had been done, but Telltale kind of executed it to perfection.
And so many people after that, like with Life is Strange and like even Detroit, even though the guy who made Detroit.
Yeah, no, there's so many. I'm struggling to think of them off the bat, but it inspired so many other game franchises and stuff.
Oh yeah, so
Crazy.
you've got to give season 1 props for that. And
Yeah.
I think that Lee is also a great protagonist for season 1.
Yeah,
because he's not like the traditional kind of he's just like a normal guy, bro. He's just a normal guy. He's not like the normal guy, because he's literally, the opening of the game is him in a police cruiser, And he talks to him and he's like, "Oh, so you killed your wife, buddy,
yeah.
huh? You killed your wife?"
Yeah. But he's not a perfect person either.
That's true.
He's a flawed hero in many ways.
And like the
and
wife murder would have you believe that he was a perfect person.
Yeah.
You know, you'd go in and you'd be like, "Wow, this guy's great."
Yeah.
But it's sort of because you go in with that and you're thinking, "Oh, why am I playing as?" Because I definitely remember at the time I was like, "Why am I playing as this guy?" Like this seems like the ending of a game would be him going off into a police cruiser, fucking off and like, oh, he killed his wife, whatever.
We're starting it.
Then you play as him, and the game is about him getting redemption, and that's how he like meets Clementine. Yeah. And then, so for episode 1, I think episode 1 of season 1 is a great introduction.
Gotta get my thoughts back to everything.
Into the police car, crash the police car, comes out, meets Clementine at the house.
Sees Clementine.
Yeah.
In the forest.
God.
That's the first time you see her, and then you get to the house. Obviously, oh my
Herschel.
God! One of my no, even before that, one of my favorite scenes. Genuinely one of my favorite scenes of the entire thing, even though it's so early on, is when he's walking around the house. Clementine's in the treehouse, but you don't know this yet. And you walk around the house and you play the voicemail.
And they're calling,
and you hear the each call from her parents getting progressively more stressed. At first, it's like, oh, we're gonna be delayed.
Because they're calling the babysitter.
Yeah. Basically saying, okay, you have to be with her one day, blah, blah. And then each call gets more and more distressing. I love that. It's like you really get to see, okay, this is actually going down right now.
That's true. It is good. It is good.
I love it. And the music as well. The music throughout the whole... To be honest, the music throughout the whole thing is great, but just...
Jared Emerson Johnson.
Is that the guy?
So I have some on my playlist, so yeah.
Really, yeah. It's brilliant.
Great taste.
Yeah, brilliant. Perfect for building, whether it be tension, whether it be...
Atmosphere.
Just atmosphere in general. But that, when the music plays during that scene with the voicemails, it just gets louder and louder, but more somber. God. So good. And then obviously Sandra attacks. You got is that your first? No, it's not your first.
No, the first zombie encounter is the police officer.
Yeah, and you got to kill him, obviously.
Yeah.
But but she comes out of nowhere, doesn't she? From the
but that's good. That's the first meeting with Clementine.
Yeah, and then Clementine, she eventually gives you the hammer, kill Sandra, and then you walk out with her, and then you meet the most developed character of the entire thing, Chet.
Chet. Is that his name? You remember Chet?
Yeah, I think so. That's who he is.
I thought you would have
his name. I could be wrong.
Yeah, Chet. Is that the guy with like the
guy with
the guy
Herschel's
with
son.
What's Herschel's son? Doug? No, it's not.
No.
No, Doug is Kenny's son.
Doug. No, Duck's Kenny's son.
Yeah, I thought it said Doug.
You're thinking of Doug, the person you can choose later in the episode, but
I'm confusing Doug and Duck and
What's
Chet.
His name? He's in the series as well.
Well, I know Herschel's son. Well, I can't remember Herschel's son's name. Well, he's
not. I remember Chet, but not
Herschel's son.
I do know.
But Herschel's son, he isn't in the show because he's already a zombie by the time that the show happens. Right, he's already in the barn.
Yeah, but he's in the.
He's in the game.
Yeah, he's in the
but
game.
What I'm saying,
tiny bit of the first episode.
But
anyway, you meet them.
That whole bit on Herschel's farm, that definitely feels like a. We've got to get fans of the show. We've got to get fans of the comic and the show on board with this a little bit because they're going to be kind of thinking
sort of intertwined with the lore a little bit.
Yeah, well, because I think at the start, if you don't know anything, you're a Walking Dead fan and you go into this not knowing anything, you're going to be like, oh, who's this guy? Where's like Rick? Where's all these characters from the comics? So I think they're sort of like.
But it doesn't. At the same time, it doesn't feel forced though.
It isn't too intrusive.
Because I think when I started playing it, I hadn't watched the series yet at all.
No.
But I still just treated it as okay. These are some new characters.
Well, yeah, it still makes sense in the world.
I was a little bit taken aback when you just leave so early, but in hindsight now I know. Obviously, that was to do. They bring them in together.
Yeah, and obviously you meet Kenny. You meet Kenny for the first time on that thing.
But it's also just one of the... When you're at Herschel's farm, it's one of the first scenes where you get those sort of... Everyone's doing their own thing. You walk around. You choose who you speak to.
Yeah, like Soaring Wood.
That actually might be some of my favourite scenes in games in general. Where you've just got the freedom of going around and talking to whoever you want. Character development. Everything's chill at this point. Nothing's really going wrong. Things seem stable.
Well, because they don't know how... At that point, they don't know how bad it is.
Yeah, Herschel's treating it as, when this passes over...
We're going crazy in the cities right now, boy.
Yeah.
And then
I'm pretty sure Lee even talks to
Sean,
that's it, yeah. How could I forget that? But yeah, you get Lee talking to Catcher and Kenny about, oh, what did you do before? What are you gonna do after this? Oh, we're gonna.
So I'm a boat. I got a boat down by Savannah.
Savannah.
We're gonna take it out onto the water.
But yeah, man, I just love those scenes. They're so good. They actually make you care about the characters. So yeah, you found out a bit about Kenny, about his past, what he does. He fisherman.
Commercial fisherman.
Catches a veterinarian.
He catches a veterinarian.
Yeah.
Oh, like he catches. Okay.
Catcher the character. Catcher.
Oh, catch! I thought you meant he catches.
Oh no! As in
I thought he caught like a
it's
veterinarian.
a bit of a weird name, so I can see why.
Catcher.
Catcher, Kenny's wife.
Yes, Catcher.
Yeah, you get to talk to her, and I think, am I right in saying you talk to Herschel in the barn?
You do.
This is where, whether you were honest or not the night before, he basically sizes you up, gives you a bit of advice, either basically, tells you you're rude.
Yeah, he's like, you better be taking care of that little girl, boy.
Very
whatever.
Candidly explains stuff to you, gives you advice. And then when you finish that conversation, you hear the scream.
The event with Sean.
And you get the first
That's kind of like
choice. You get the first it's not the first choice because obviously you choose dialogue.
Yeah, but it's the first
it's the first big choice
moment where it's like, oh, who do you go to?
Oh yeah, who do you save?
Yeah.
And in hindsight, if you choose to save Sean, it doesn't really.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter because if you choose to save Sean, then Herschel just gets pissed at you. But it's sorry. If you save Sean, Herschel's cool with you, pissed at Kenny, but you leave Herschel's farm regardless.
Well, I think this is a criticism that these games have, is that like there isn't like that much freedom of choice. But I think the sort of the underlining thing about that choice isn't necessarily if Sean lives or dies. It's if you show support
to
Kenny.
And in fact, is that yeah.
That's like the underlying choice.
Later on, Kenny comes to question whether you're on his side a lot, and that's that first decision is like the foundation for. Are you a Kenny supporter?
Are you a Kenny bromance? Are you a Kenny stan?
Because he will use it against you later.
You didn't say my boy back. Let time.
This is going way further, but when you get to leave. Well, it's actually you just got bit and you go to save Clementine, and depending on your dialogue choices or your past choices, like in general. To do with Kenny or whatever, decides who you go with.
Oh, that is a cool
feature.
It does.
Yeah, that is so. I love that at the end of the thing when it shows you, who went with who. But basically, just telling you that choice did matter because that was basically you setting, the foundations for your support of Kenny and your friendship with Kenny. So yeah, big decision. But obviously, if you choose, to be honest, you don't get anything if you save Sean. You haven't got the support of Kenny, but. And he doesn't,
Yeah, and then Herschel just like fucks off. So it's pretty much the worst of all worlds because Herschel just exists there for. But at the time, I definitely remember there being like because you don't know. Obviously, if you're younger and you're playing these games, and if you're playing them for the first time, you don't understand that. The limitations of game development. They can't just have an entirely separate game set on Herschel's farm where those characters they just introduce fuck off.
As great as that would be,
that is like an insane amount of like deviation.
But honestly, that doesn't stress me out. I'm here to play a game. I understand that they've got limitations.
Yeah, I think you've got to understand that like it is trying to tell you a set story.
It's just at the end of the day, the story, the base of the story will always be the same, but it's how you get to.
It's more about it's
who's with you at certain points.
Well, it's more about like character relationships rather than the actual overarching story, because the story is always going to end up with you go to Savannah looking for Clementine's parents, and then Lee ends up getting bitten, and then there's the end decision, which is the only one that really matters and carries on. Is do you shoot Lee or do you let him turn?
Yeah, which gets referenced even in season 4. And
it's like, and that's pretty much the only like big decision that I think changes like a lot of things. Yeah. But like it's like the story. But the rest of the stuff is about like characters, which is the strong suit of this whole series is character dynamic and character interactions. Because the stories aren't really a big deal.
No, it certainly doesn't.
Because almost every story of every Walking Dead game is we got to go to a place that we think is safe, or we got to defend a place, right? And it's in the drama and the good writing comes from character interactions.
Doesn't put me off, honestly. I just It's how you get there, who you like, who you want to support, who you want to be friends with, who you want to do that, and I love that. So that's it's fine for me.
Then when you go from the farm, then you go to the drugstore.
Yep, to the drugstore where you meet more interesting characters.
Yeah, you get Chet.
Let's list them up.
Chad. I mean, no, Doug.
Not Chad. You keep getting Doug. Right. Doug's a great character, dude.
Doug exists for like 5 seconds.
No, because you can save him. Remember, he could be in your game until episode 3.
Yeah.
So Doug, Carly, Larry, Lily, Glenn.
Is that
everyone? I'm not missing anyone out.
Yeah, I think that's everyone who's like alive.
Anyone who, if I've missed anyone, they're clearly not that important.
Yeah. Well, you find out about Lee's family in the drugstore, don't you? Because it's his family's drugstore.
Not immediately though.
No.
You remember? I think the first time they sort of hinted at it is when Clementine needs to go to the toilet, and then he says, "The keys." She says it's locked, and he's like, "Keys are behind the counter."
Yeah. And he's like,
Probably.
Yeah.
I remember. I was like, what?
And it's like, I think that there is enough of like a logical. It's not too much of a logical leap where people would be like, oh, he definitely knows this place.
Yeah.
Because like keys being behind the counter is like enough of a.
Yeah.
Not to like he would give it away.
Yeah. Certainly, rise a bit of.
And there are still unanswered questions about his family because obviously, like the murder probably shook things up. But it seems like even before then,
I think you basically just get the idea that they're
not on good terms.
Family. They don't talk much. They clearly, the parents clearly care more for the brother.
The brother, yeah.
But there's a sense of regret in Lee's voice when he talks about them, when he sees the picture and stuff, thinking about the fact that
good.
Well, he feels like a disappointment, doesn't it? He feels like a letdown.
But no, that whole pharmacy section, even though it is, I do think it's the. I think
it goes on for a bit too long.
I think it's the weakest part of that first episode.
Yeah.
Until as soon as you get like past all the puzzle solving things.
Yeah.
I do think it does ramp up again when you have the choice with between Carly and Doug.
That's basically when you're about to leave, right?
Yeah. And then there's also I do like that little section when you're with Glenn when you like go out to check out the motel at first, and there's the woman who's like. I like that little section.
I think that whole scene is basically just trying to get you used to how the game's going to work. Because in terms of, okay, you've got this freedom, you do have to find things out. It's not solely decision-based. There is a bit of
puzzle
solving. I mean, they do a scene similar to it later on in the thing. I think it's episode 3 where they're at the train.
I think with that section at the motel, they want to give people a moment with Glenn. Obviously, because he's big on the show.
The motel, where the woman.
Yeah, the motel.
Oh yeah.
Because I think they want to give you like oh look guys, Glenn's here.
Yeah.
Even though Glenn has no consequence on the story at all.
No, I don't think that scene's pointless though.
Well, I don't
think it's pointless. Yeah, because it kind of just it's basically just all of these scenes are basically trying to warm you up to the fact. Well, not.
Well, yeah, every time all the
trying to show you the horrific nature of the apocalypse.
And you've got to keep in mind that it's all character stuff. Like it's all building character. Even though Glenn isn't there for long, it's still building character with Lily.
It's the first time you see
Carly too.
Carly, yeah. And then I think she kills herself in the end, which is basically just wow. Yeah, it's like a wow moment where you're like, okay, this is actually happening.
And then I get that does when they go to that
stark reminder of the
motel. It does. That's like the motel they end up staying in, isn't it? So that's where they go. Oh, should we go anywhere else? We should go to that motel.
Even to be honest, I kind of like the before you even get to the woman, you have the scene where you're basically trying to get there, and there's loads of walkers around, and you've got to think about, okay, I can hide behind the car now, get tools, or make a distraction of her. I do like that as well.
That is a good little section. Because like we've said before, that stuff is pretty much all over.
Yeah.
And it does mix a little bit for me because I think some of the stuff works. It makes sense in the world, and then other stuff feels a little too like puzzly or a little too prolonged.
So there's some scenes where I just feel like
let's speed this up a bit.
Let's speed this, yeah. Like, for example, when Lee has to get Carly batteries. I don't like small stuff like that.
That is entirely optional, though. I don't think you have to get her batteries.
Do you not?
No.
But do we use the radio again after that, or is that just?
Oh no.
Do you not? Okay.
That isn't entirely optional.
When I played it, I was going for everything.
We've got to get these fucking batteries.
Mate, I'd gotten the energy bars and stuff. I was like, I've got to find this battery, man.
Yeah. Well, even though I like picking up the energy bars and then giving it to a character, and then it's sort of.
No,
like,
I mean I get it. I get that the fact that the main character does have to do a lot. I mean that'll probably become a main topic of discussion for season 2. But I get it. I understand it. Otherwise, the game, if everyone did everything for you, then where's the point of the game?
I think it makes.
But sometimes there are a few nitpicky things where.
But also, I feel like Lee seems like the kind of guy you would be able to depend on. So I get why people would be like, "Hey Lee, can you help with this?" Because he's not like a pushover. He's not like a.
Yeah, he's
not like a little girl or something.
He's a helpful guy. He's likable.
Yeah.
He's hard. Well, it depends on what you do later on in the season, but. He's never really bringing up feuds or starting stuff.
You're generally fence sitting on a lot of things.
Well, as you said, later on you get decisions.
Yeah. This is something that I'll have, something that I might have an issue with season 4 later on. But I think Lily is really good in season 1.
I agree.
Because you think she would just sort of be like the old naggy Lily. But like, and I you would usually side with Kenny, but you can understand like where she's coming from most of the time, because she's giving herself all the pressure to do pretty much everything in the group.
Absolutely. And although
her dad is like dying,
and although her dad is an arsehole, it is her dad, and you have to remember that she's obviously going to defend him.
And there are nicer moments with Lily, I think, in season 1 where you get little moments.
Yeah,
where she trusts Lee.
I'm pretty sure an area of like not conflict, but somewhat we disagreed with when we played was I actually sided with Lily a lot of the time in the early parts of season 1.
I was a Kenny stan.
And he was a Kenny stan. And I think Lily's a great character. I really think she is. She's such a strong... And she's such a... Well, actually, let me refrain from calling her a good leader, because that will play up again in season 4. But what I will say is she's very... She's not afraid to make the hard decisions. She's going to make the big calls. And in an apocalypse, big calls need to be made.
That's true.
You can't be a fence sitter, and she certainly isn't that. She makes big decisions.
The same with Kenny.
And there is a lot of scenes actually where Lily trusts Lee. She likes Lee. She understands that he's a valuable asset. Do
you know, they almost
friend.
Always kind of like flirt with a romance thing. I think a little bit.
They do a little bit.
He's like, stay away from my daughter.
I think it's more so... The romance in season 1 is more so Lee and Carly. But they certainly do hint at it. And there are a lot of scenes where Lily does win me over in terms of me wanting to support her, because she is a good person. You'd want her on your side. She's strong-willed.
Well, I think a lot of it comes down to like, because there were definitely times where I could see that Lily was maybe being more reasonable than Kenny, but it came down to who am I going to be more loyal to, and I was like, I'm going I
agree. I think a lot of the time,
you want to back
Lily
Kenny.
does make in season, I think it's episode 1 and 2, Lily does make a lot of decisions that make a lot more sense than what Kenny wants. For example, when Kenny just wants to leave with no plan of where he wants to go. And Lily's obviously in favour of staying.
Oh, in fairness, I was on Kenny's side for that whole leaving.
Was that you wanting to just get more friendly with Kenny, or you genuinely just...
It wasn't just because I wanted to spend more time with Kenny. It was because I was like, we should probably leave this motel.
Maybe.
But we're jumping ahead anyway.
Anyway.
But we should wrap up.
So is there anything more to speak about the pharmacy? So we both obviously sided with Kenny in the confrontation. Why wouldn't you? Larry's just being an upfront dick for no reason.
Yeah, and it's like he doesn't even understand...
There is a reason, but it's so...
But he's going about it in the entirely wrong way.
He's completely aggressive and
even at the beginning, I don't think you'd be able to immediately go, okay, bites, do it. You wouldn't be able to instantly know. He just kind of guesses.
He's just
like,
so obnoxious.
It's probably a bite.
He's so obnoxious that even if he was in the right, his approach makes you hate him.
No. And Kenny's just so likable, man.
Yeah, plus we knew that Duck hadn't gotten bitten, or at least we were under the impression.
We suspected. We're like, he's not going to get bitten.
Yeah,
he'll be fine.
So we obviously sided with that, and...
It's mostly puzzle stuff.
Yeah, and basically.
But then
the only last big decision, obviously, before you leave the pharmacy,
is between Carly,
saving Carly or Doug,
and Doug. And then I think I went for Carly. Did you go for Carly too?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Well,
you should remember this. Of course, I went for Carly.
Well, I
don't think we ever really saw Doug when we played. Like,
we didn't see that much Doug.
He just had that.
Because you really don't spend as much time with Doug as you do Carly.
So yeah, anyway, like we chose her, so from now on we'll be talking about her in our story.
To all the Doug stands,
we're sorry about that.
Sorry.
We're sorry.
I was not prepared to let Carly die. So
neither was I. She had too much potential.
Yeah, but...
it was worth it in the end choosing her. So anyway, you leave. Is that the end of episode 1?
Well, there is that little bit at the end where you come up to the door. And then
Larry,
then Larry opens the door and then punches him, and it's just like and then Kenny comes and helps you up.
Yeah, he hits you down. Kenny helps you up.
Gotta hit that Kenny.
What's he say? He says, "I'm not letting another friend die today.
I'm not leaving a friend behind."
Yeah, something like that.
Or something. Episode 1
ends. They get to the motel, right?
Gets to the motel.
Glenn leaves.
Boo-hoo.
Nothing really to say about that.
Yeah.
I think he hints that he's going to Atlanta.
Well, he says, I gotta meet some friends in Atlanta.
That's basically just a nice little end to his arc
hey,
in the Walking Dead game.
A thing. Right.
And then I think you have a few more conversations.
Isn't the reveal? Doesn't Larry reveal it right at the end of episode 1?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, I think he's posted up on like a on like a pillar, and he's basically staring you down.
Oh yeah, because you talk to Lily. Because you talk to Lily before you talk to him, and then he's like, "Listen, I want you to stay away from my daughter. I know about the.
I know you're a convicted killer.
I know you're a killer. I know you're
Something
a killer."
Like that. Who else? I think you speak to Clementine and Duck.
Yeah.
At one point.
God, we got okay. Just before we wrap up episode 1, They did such a good job of making Clementine like the most adorable little girl ever, and the fact that you like immediately you're like, we have to protect her, because like I think
it doesn't feel forced at all.
No,
it feels so natural.
You get it, and it's like I feel like a lot of the time people can find kids like annoying, in, like movies or games. You're like, oh, this is an annoying kid who's just like messing about, but she's so earnest, and she's so like. Oh, what are we doing? She's so like.
She's not even a liability.
No, she's like reliable.
From the get-go, Clementine is someone you can rely on.
And even if she was unreliable, like she's too. I don't know. She's just too nice. Well. She's a child.
She's a child. You instantly.
And, like you instantly are like that. Even when I was like around the time the game came out, I must have been like 12 or 13. My parental instinct kicked in, and I was like, we got to protect her.
Yeah.
And it's like you feel so protective of her.
And during this, obviously, we can't speak about every single bit of dialogue and whatever, but but you do have loads of moments where you're just Lee and Clementine talking.
Yeah. Well, that's like the core dynamic.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think that's episode.
That's
1.
episode 1 because that's.
You speak to Carly. I don't even think you think you must do actually.
You speak to her a little bit.
Anyway, I can't remember what that conversation is.
But yeah, that's a wrap up. I'd give episode 1
out of 10. Let's give it a rating.
I don't think I could rate.
The only reason I want to rate episodes is because I have an idea as to what my favorite episode is of season 1.
I think I could rank them. But I don't know. I think I might want to save
giving them like an A or a B or a C.
No, ranking them in terms of what like episode 1, episode 2, episode 3.
What's the best?
Yeah.
Okay,
but like
at the end,
I want to save that till the end so that we can
fair enough.
definitively.
I'll give something away in a sec as to what my ranking would be. But episode 2. Okay, so episode 2 starts.
That opens up with Mark, and I do think
you don't know who Mark is.
I think it's interesting that because they skip like time, they do the time skip.
I think it's 3 months.
3 months, and that they don't have like a moment where Mark is introduced. They're just sort of like, oh, they met a guy along the road. Oh, I don't mind that for Mark.
Yeah, neither do
for Mark, who's someone's just in one episode.
Yeah.
Like I get it. It would be weird that in 3 months they didn't meet anyone and that they were just completely isolated. So it's like a good indication of.
And you find the world is still. You still find out why he joined the group as well because he had all that food.
Yeah, and then
I can't remember why he had the food. But there was
I think it just he had food, and then Lily was like, "Oh, we're starting to run out of food now."
That's the only reason you're here, or something.
Yeah. And then the opening, it starts off with a banger with the guy in the bear trap.
Yeah,
with the teacher.
So you're in the woods. You kind of get the general impression that they're needing to find food. Their hunting isn't going well. Mark's with Lee. Kenny's off by himself. And then you hear the bang, and then you find one of the most controversial characters in the entire of The Walking Dead. Ben and the teacher, and I can't remember the name of the other kid.
That's fine. His name isn't set. It's probably just a name that's like given to him like, as a character model.
Out there who know it.
Who like have Stan accounts just.
Also,
can
I just quickly I almost was glad that he wasn't part of it when he tripped when they were running. The most cliche way to die. That is true. He literally had ample time to get away. So much time, and he tripped on nothing. So you know what? Honestly, just we'll leave him behind.
Yeah, but that whole section is like, because I think it throws you into it immediately.
Yeah.
Like you kind of think it's going to start slow because you're like, oh, we're out hunting. Are we just going to like casually walk?
Oh yeah,
back?
no rest.
Then it's like, oh fuck you.
Yeah, straight into it.
There's a guy in a fucking bear trap. And it is
once again exposing you to the brutality of the apocalypse. There is never a moment where it's chill.
And it's good foreshadowing because you notice that there isn't a release latch on the bear trap.
Yeah, why isn't? Yeah, I think they mentioned why isn't there a release?
Because bear traps have, for those who don't know, bear traps or like just like bear traps like that have release latches in case a human, so that a human, because only a human would be able to release the latch.
Yeah.
So like because a bear won't be able to get it, so that's like a way. So that latch has been removed.
That's one form.
But even though that is foreshadowing of what it is, in the moment you really don't think of it. You probably just think, oh, it's been rusted off. You just think because it's happening so quickly. You just think, oh fuck, we gotta figure out another way.
Honest, that isn't even the best bit of foreshadowing in that episode. I mean, even before the bear trap thing, I remember Mark having a few things to say where when you play back, you realise that it is blatant foreshadowing.
Oh yeah, there are loads of moments where he's like, oh,
I'd be food by now.
Yeah, just something mentioning like that.
It says something else as well, but I can't remember it off the top of my head.
Yeah, but like that whole, I do like that whole opening section. I can't remember what. I think I probably tried to save the teacher.
Is it? It's not really a decision though, is it? It's more of a. I think you have the action of.
Do you cut off his leg?
Yeah. Do you cut off his leg
immediately?
Do you try the chain? I think I tried the chain for a bit, and then yeah, took his leg off. I didn't even know that. It's not really is it a choice? Can you leave him?
You can leave him, yeah.
Oh, okay. There you
and
go,
then the other guy
shoots him in the head, maybe.
No, the other guy comes with you, but he's like I think he dies on the way.
Oh, right.
And then he becomes the zombie because there's that like section where that Kutcher's like tending to him, and then he suddenly like pops up.
Yeah.
Even though that's like the exact same sequence of events, it is nice that it's a different character doing those things, just to like.
I had
switch
no
things
idea
up.
about that.
There you go.
Genuinely.
See,
there are still things that I don't know. Like I'll see a clip or something, I'll be like, "What? That can happen?"
Even though I've been playing this game for like over a decade,
yeah,
there's probably still things where I'm like, I haven't gotten every single piece of dialogue.
Yeah,
because there are just things that I would never think to do.
Yeah.
Why
would I go back and look at this one thing that happened? But then you see it and you're like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but that whole it's such a good, and especially when you come back and like Lily is so like, don't bring this guy in.
It's a hooking opening for sure.
And then it shows you just how desperate they are, where like they are just not willing to help this guy at all. And when Kenny's like, we got it.
When you get back, you're first introduced to the main conflict and hostility of the second episode, which is
that's kind of the
which is basically the role of leadership.
Yeah, and
it kind of gets hinted as a theme throughout the whole episode.
Kenny, because it's between Kenny, Lily, and Lee.
Yeah,
is like the whole dynamic.
Who do you want to be leader? Who are you going to support? Are you going to back up?
And you can sort of back yourself up.
Yeah, you
can't
can.
You?
You definitely can.
Be like, I kind of see myself as leader around
later
here.
On when what are they called? That just for future so I know when I refer to them later. They're called you know who I'm thinking of, right? The
St. John's.
St. John's.
St. John's.
I think one of them's called Andy.
Like, who calls the shots around here or something like that.
And you can back yourself up.
Or you can just be like, we're a democracy.
Yeah, it's a theme that I do
looks
enjoy.
Like she was calling the shots
because
back there.
they have a lot of arguments this episode.
They do.
A lot of arguments.
But I think that's all good because it makes sense that like...
Oh, absolutely.
Like Kenny and Lily didn't get on.
It's inevitable. It's in human nature to want to do things different ways.
Yeah, and in like the 5 minutes that they knew each other... Kenny and Lily were already at each other's throats. So 3 months in that motel.
I think... Anyway, yeah, so... you get to the thing, you have that argument, who you're going to support. I think you supported Kenny, right?
I was a Kenny stan.
I was a fence sitter.
You son of a bitch.
I certainly was a fence sitter.
Yeah, you were just like, why can't we just get along?
Yeah, I mean, I was always going to try and keep peace at first. Especially since I kind of like Lily. So I didn't want to just be...
So she was being a little unreasonable with those. She was like, we're not even going to bother helping that guy.
But at the same time, you
sense.
See where it comes from.
Well, yeah.
If you're already running out of food and you bring another person...
Well, the mark of a good character is understanding their motivation even if you don't agree with it.
Exactly. So, yeah, I sat there, and then you get the scene where you spoke about earlier with the who do you give the food to.
Yeah.
Because Lily's basically fed up. She's like, you know what, if you're just going to have a go at me, you do it. Gives you the
and you do feel the pressure of it because there
so do I.
Any.
There's that before you're allowed to go off and do your own thing. You have this scene where all the characters just sort of look at you in desperation. They just give you a slight glance.
Who are you gonna give, man?
Don't forget about me, you know. I mean, Larry did it as well, but I wasn't for 1 second.
Who's giving shit to Larry?
I actually did watch one playthrough where someone gave Larry.
Oh, he's probably trying to build bridges, but it's like, who's fucking even gonna bother with him?
Now, the amount of times I've seen it now.
I think I remember. I chose Clementine, obviously.
I mean, who the fuck? You basically only. How many food pieces are there? 4 or 5?
I think there's 4. There's 4 for 8 people.
So there's basically 3 because everyone's choosing Clementine.
Yeah.
If you don't choose Clementine...
You're a psychopath.
You are a psychopath. You're a cruel individual.
You're a psycho.
Who needs to be locked up.
Yeah. Then so I went Clementine, obviously, and then I think I did Duck because he's a kid.
Yeah, so did I. Yeah.
And then I want to say I did Kenny.
Kenny?
Because I was like, I wanted to be on his guy's side.
I think I tried Kenny, but doesn't he just refuse it?
No, Kenny refuses it if Duck hasn't
chosen
had any.
Duck yet. Oh, okay.
So if he's like, has my boy eaten yet?
Yeah, I don't think I gave any to Kenny.
And then I gave some to Mark.
Yeah, so did I.
Because he said he was hungry.
Yeah.
So I think, mine was Clementine, Duck, Kenny and Mark. And I don't think you could give any to Katja because she was working on...
You can't give any to Carly either because Carly just says save it for yourself.
Yeah.
Wait, I must have given it to Kenny because I certainly didn't give it to Larry and I don't think I gave it to Lily.
Did you give it to Ben?
No, I don't think so. Even then, I was like, I'm not going to give the newcomer.
I'm not giving this new guy.
I think so. Clementine, Duck, Mark. Maybe I must have given it to Kenny though.
Yeah,
I must have. Either way, yeah. I really like that whole
thing. That is an example of using a slower open moment where you can just walk around.
One of the
as a
best
good
actually, like of the slow.
It's one of the better implementations.
You really got
of
to
that
think
idea.
about it. You really got to think about it.
Because it's sort of because it isn't really like a logic puzzle. It's like it's because it's tied into character relationships. It makes it way more engaging than just having to find batteries. Because it's tied into your whole relationships with the entire group too. So it makes the whole thing a lot more, intense. And then after that, is it almost directly after that? That's when the St. John's come up.
I think so. I mean, you might. I think you get. I'm trying to remember if you get any important chat. Oh no, because obviously the Walker, the teacher.
The Walker, the Walker attacks. Oh, that's where they find out that if you die anyway.
Oh, another brilliant scene. Another where I think Ben's the one who says,
and he's like, oh,
y'all
you guys
don't know.
Y'all don't know.
It isn't the bite that does it.
We're all infected.
He says you come back no matter how you die, and then Leah has the option to say, Leah. I think I actually chose that exact option.
I mean, it feels thematically appropriate.
Yeah.
But yeah, that whole thing.
The music during that scene as well. It's like the daunting realization
that
there is no way out of this, and that it almost further explains why the virus, if you will, it's not really a virus. What should I call it?
Well, it is kind of a virus.
Okay, I'll call it a virus then.
But it spreads. It's like spreads through like bites.
It just shows. It's just another sort of why it spreads so quickly because
everyone has it.
There's no way out. No matter how you die, it's not if you just get bit. But yeah, great scene.
And then I think, isn't it almost immediately after that? That's when the St. John's.
Yeah, they just kind of come out of nowhere. Like
it's like, hey, we got a basket of bread here. No, they got fuel, right? They want to trade fuel for food. Yeah. They're like, we need fuel for our electric fence.
So from the offset, they're sort of almost too calm of a demeanor.
Well, yeah, I didn't
unsettles you a little bit.
Well, I think
they're so trusting and so
open,
so wanting to be friendly.
Well, it's because they're acting like what is happening is not happening.
Yeah.
Because they just come up and they're like, "Hi, y'all.
We're just up at our farm.
We were just doing the electric fence on our farm." It's like what?
Like what?
A man is fucking turned into a zombie.
Lily's like super on edge. Or Carly. I think Carly literally draws her gun.
I think Kenny's like, "Oh, we just need food for little kids."
It does make sense why you'd go with them though, because of obviously we know how desperate they are.
You have like no food.
Running out of food. It's understandable why they'd go, and I mean they do literally have a basket of bread.
I mean, you still do get the option to like protest having to go. Like you still get the option to say, "Oh,
yeah,
I don't
you
know
do.
if
You do. I think I was in favor of going though, honestly, because I really like to get into these games and play it from as if I'm actually there. So for example, later on you have a decision. Actually, you know what? I'll save that. That's quite a big one. So I'll save that for later. Yeah.
So then you go with the. I don't think. I think you don't. The full group doesn't go immediately, is it? They send like a little group first.
It's Lee, Carly,
Mark,
Kenny, Mark, and Ben.
No, I think Kenny stays with. I want to say Kenny stays with Doug.
Yeah. Oh no, you might be right. Yeah. So I think it's Lee, Carly, Ben,
and Mark.
Mark.
So then they go up to the farm, and then
that's when you have the discussion about
who's in charge.
And you also get a sneak peek into who the farmers are dealing with.
Oh, the bandits. Yeah.
The bandits, because one of them just irrationally shoots
fucking
a guy.
Murders the dude just immediately.
Cold-bloodedly, callously, just straight up just murders someone.
And I think that sort of like throws you off a bit from who like the antagonist of the episode is going to be. Because you're thinking,
is it the bandits? Is it the St. John's?
Yeah, because you think St. John's are kind of creepy, and then they throw at you, oh, these bandits are just murdering each other. So then you focus, oh, okay, there you go.
Yeah, these guys are trouble type thing.
And like I do like that whole bit on the farm with like just the whole walking around the farm, because it is a change of pace from like the motel, which is miserable.
Yeah,
the motel is like one of the most miserable looking places.
Yeah, you go from this miserable area to this place of almost bliss, where in the middle of the apocalypse,
it's nice.
They have, a renewable source of food.
Yeah,
they have electric fences powered,
which is a complete waste of energy.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it is, because
the zombies. I don't think that would kill them.
No, I don't think so either. But anyway, it's basically just to show that they have it good.
Yeah, they've got like they've got
a lot of, a large area of space.
A lot going on.
Yeah, basically, and yeah, so it's a very nice change of pace. I think you get another like chilled out. Oh no! You meet Brenda, and you talk to them about like their situation there, and then you get tasked with Mark, to go around and
look at the
basically
fence.
Look at the perimeter and check it out. And do you do that immediately? Oh no, you're about to do that, and then Carly and Ben leave because they're basically saying they're basically going back to tell the others that it's cool for them to come up, basically. Then
he comes to the fence, and then that's sort of like the first official moment where you're like, oh, these guys are obviously something's going on here.
Yeah.
Because they do the they turn on the fence
halfway through. Yeah. That's crazy. You know. That's so crazy. And then you go back, and he doesn't even. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. He doesn't even like. I can't even remember him fully explaining it.
Maybe just like, I can't.
Sorry about that, y'all.
I don't know how that happened. I can't believe that. Well, I think that because Mark's
crazy. They would have put if let's just say Leo or Mark happened to be on the fence when it happened. They low key would have just killed them, and then brought them back and said, "Oh, this was a horrible accident that happened."
Let's eat in their memory.
Yeah, this is what they'd want.
Yeah,
you know?
And then you've got
the bandits as well.
Yeah, the bandit. I think that also kind of throws you off immediately from thinking about it, because as soon as that happens, Mark gets shot.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna say the bandits are kind of.
Well, they're just there to throw off the scent.
They're dumb. I'm just gonna say this straight up. They are dumb. Crippled Mark, which they shot with an arrow,
and Lee with no weapons,
and they didn't
run up.
Yeah, they didn't mount a
full on assault.
They just straight up shot from range.
I was like, let's waste all our crossbow bolts and just fire
they're stupid. But at the end of the they are stupid people anyway. You kind of get that impression that they don't think, they just act.
Yeah.
So Mark gets hit. Ends up being a fatal blow. In fact, not the arrow itself.
Not the arrow itself, but
the consequence of getting shot by the arrow.
Yeah, and you're like, let's bring you in, and
that's the last you see of him until the very end.
I know.
But he still plays a crucial role later on.
That is true.
That's very true. And I think you get back.
And then you get back by the time everyone's arriving, and they're just like, "Wow, this place looks great."
And then Mark shows up. Yeah.
It's like, what the hell is going on here? I thought you said this place was safe.
Kenny or Larry, who's the one.
Yeah.
I think.
I thought this fucking place was safe. You fucker. Why are you bringing our children here? And I'm like, it was safe when we came.
And then Mark gets escorted back into the house by Brenda. Who's another sort of sinister character.
God, she's fucking nasty.
She makes you unnerved.
She's nasty, bro.
Her way she's a very good sort of. She's not really a horror character, but she's got that sort of.
Well, she's sinister.
Air about her, you know. Yeah.
Then they arrive at the farm, and I do like that little moment where you can fix the swing.
Yeah.
For Clementine.
Yeah, a bit more bonding with Clementine.
Yeah, obviously. Just as much Clementine stuff. Every Clementine section is like perfect.
Yeah. It's very good because it's when the scenes where it's just you and Clementine are some of the only scenes where you genuinely just feel happy in the game.
Oh yeah.
Where you kind of forget for a moment about what's going on.
Yeah, and you just feel so fucking bad for her.
Yeah.
Because like she thinks her parents are still alive, even though you kind of know deep down
alive until
they're fucking dead.
Until she sees them.
Yeah.
It's just nuts.
Even though you know deep down that like they're probably dead because they were in like a major city.
Yeah.
But like. Yeah, then you get that like little moment on the farm. I do like how when you push the swing, you kick Duck off of it. So if you can just infinitely push the swing with Clementine, and he's just in the background. He's like, "Come on,
I wonder if you do it for like a
wait her turn."
Yeah.
He's like,
I wonder if you do it for too long.
I want to go on. Let them have their turn, Duck.
Oh man, you gotta savor the Duck scenes.
The Duck stuff,
you gotta savor it because he's such a good character as well. Because he's so like he's the same age as Clem, but he's so different. He's more act on impulse. He's more gung ho.
I think it's even implied that he's like a little ADHD because I think Kenny is
autistic.
like, oh, he's you know how he is as a boy or something like that. He's like, he weren't like other boys or something.
Yeah, he's
And then like I like just like and his little relationship with Clementine.
He's just a bundle of joy. He's always positive.
You gotta respect it.
Man, Duck, great character. That's what I'm saying. You got to enjoy the scenes with Duck.
You got the good ones.
And then
I want to say that like after the shooting thing, then you're at the farm, and then is it almost then you go out? I think then you go out.
I think you have a few more scenes where you can go and speak to Lily and Larry, or Brenda, and you find out a bit about their past, such as their father passed away. And why they have it so good.
They won the prize dairy contest or whatever.
Basically, other than that, you just get to speak to some people, and then you head out with Mr. Creep.
Yeah, then the Creep, you go out to that camp, and then...
Oh, brilliant scene.
That, honestly, when I played it for the first time, that scene confused me so much, because I thought...
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was, like, for a second, I thought that lady was Clementine's mum, and, like, she had, like...
Did you, for a
gone
sec?
crazy, because I thought that's why she was so obsessed with her, is because that's her actual daughter. But obviously the context is that the bandits killed her daughter, and now she's like imprinting on Clementine.
It's when you find the hat in the tent because earlier on in the episode.
Oh yeah, Clementine's like, oh yeah, I've lost my hat. And
Yeah.
then he's like, okay.
You find the hat and you're like, what? That's so weird. And then you get the standoff. Really, I love that whole scene because it's not, you don't have an outright decision, but it's basically how long do you stall before you either kill her or he kills her for you, because she's screaming at you. And I remember when I played it, I don't know if you're the same, but I think we both didn't kill her.
No, I didn't kill her.
Yeah, but I was basically just I was really intrigued by her sort of erraticness. I really wanted to find out what was up with her. So I restrained from shooting until the very end, until obviously he killed her. But I just, that's another sort of thing I love about how the decisions don't always have to be outright.
No.
It's basically, how do you approach this situation? Are you going to stall? Are you going to talk for ages? Or are you just going to shoot her outright? And that can determine what happens with it. And then he kills her before she was about to give you pivotal information. I think she says something quite important. Well, she's in the midst of saying it.
Well, I think that's why she feels protective of Clementine, because it's not just because of the bandits, but I think she knows about the St. John's.
Oh yeah, she does. Yeah, she's like, I think she actually says, "Oh, I know what y'all do.
I know what y'all are. I know what you're doing." And then he shoots her.
Bullseye
right in the head. And I'm like, bro,
it's a sadistic way of.
And I'm like, bro, this is not a good time for that.
He could have justified it by, oh yeah, well she was threatening us, but the way there was no remorse whatsoever.
No,
that's
like,
that's how
that was a good shot. I guess
that's another sort of indicator as to these guys aren't all that. There's something darker.
And then after that, you go back to the barn, or you go back to the farm.
Yeah.
And then you get that scene with the cow, and then you're in the barn, and then that whole barn segment is one of my favorites, because you get that first scene where Clementine has got the salt lick. Yeah. And he's like, what's a salt lick? And he's try lick it.
Foreshadowing as well.
Yeah. And then that later, fucking years later, AJ's like, what's that? What's that? A salt?
She's like, don't
lick it.
Don't do it.
Don't lick it, AJ.
Yeah.
But no, that I like that. But it's like nice little interactions like that help.
It's also
it helps stop the whole thing from feeling like overly depressing.
Yeah.
Because you've got to have little moments of like there's something worth fighting for.
I'm a fan of games that have sort of misery sort of deep within the game, but you can't play a game that's fully just downright
misery
depressing.
The entire time. You've got to have little moments.
You need a bit of respite, and it's perfect, like in that scene especially. And then you have the callback to the episode 1 scene where Lee either swears in front of her or doesn't, because she says, "What's that?" And the duck says, "What's that smell?" And she's like, "Shit." But I didn't choose shit.
It's fucking shit. It's fucking shit, you bitch.
Did you choose manure?
No, I said manure. I wouldn't say shit. I wouldn't be like, it's shit.
Yeah, I didn't want to.
It's fucking fat shit.
Although it is kind of cute if she does.
It is funny. But then
shit, rightly?
It's shit. That's shit.
It's the fact she even goes rightly.
Well, it's like she
throwing
wants to
you
know.
Under the bus.
She's like, look at it, it's shit. She just wants to know.
So good.
And then that also goes on to, that's when Kenny suddenly like cottons on to like what's happening.
Yeah, we're
and he's
like
one
of the best scenes of all time.
He's like, listen, Lee, I think they got something hiding behind that barn there. They got something in that workshop. And then Lee's like, yeah, sure, let me check it out. And then Lee's like messing around with the lock.
Yeah.
And Kenny's like, so
No, what does he say exactly? He's like,
you know how to pick a lock, right? He's like, what? Why do you think I know how to pick a lock? He's like, you're urban.
You know, you're
urban.
Urban.
You're urban, ain't you? And he's like,
Kenny, you better not be saying this to me
Kenny,
right now.
why would you say that, right? And he's like, sorry, I'm from Florida. We say crazy shit all the time.
That's how he disguises it.
I know.
I'm from Florida, man.
That is honestly, I fucking love Kenny. Even though he's sort of like, obviously that was not called for.
Yeah, but he's not racist.
He doesn't mean it in a bad way. He's just like, he's from Florida, man. He didn't mean it.
He genuinely doesn't believe he's being racist. He's just making an observation.
Yeah.
That's why. Yeah, he's just so great, man. That's not why he's great. It's He's just got so many little character quirks.
Yeah. He's charming.
Exactly.
And I think that's just why I like Kenny, because like he cottons onto it. Because I would have thought Lily would have been able to like sort of figure it out too. But we don't get like there's something going on.
There isn't much of Lily.
Yeah. Even though if none of the creepy stuff happened before, you would just think, oh, that's a room where they kill like the cows.
Yeah, like, to be honest, I wouldn't even be suspicious. I get it's all locked up, but I would just genuinely...
I would just think, this is a farm, they obviously kill the animals.
Kenny's suspicion comes in clutch.
Kenny's like, I ain't no farmer, I'm a fisherman. And I don't have that kind of thing on my boat. So, like, we gotta do something.
Yeah.
And also, you do the thing where you have to, like, then you do that puzzle. That puzzle kind of sucks, but you do
the
puzzle.
It is, okay.
Where you walk out, generate...
It sucks because Andy would never be that stupid.
It's got like,
he would never be
that oblivious
to
I don't know. I think it just it throws off the pace of the like, we have to try and unscrew it quickly, like do it quickly, and then you've got to like.
Especially since Lee just. It just takes so long for him to walk.
And he just
there.
walks down.
Yeah.
Like immediately, I'm like standing right next to the generator that's just like been sabotaged, and he's just going like, "Well, this damn generator."
I know, and then you just walk back conveniently.
Just quietly, just like, okay, I guess there was nothing going on here.
And he doesn't think anything of it.
Yeah. And then you open the thing, and then there's blood everywhere, and then he's like,
"Dinner
what the
time.
hell's this?"
Didn't you hear the bell, boy?
Didn't you hear the bell, boy? That's a little
dinner time.
Dinner time, boy. He's like, "What the hell's behind? What the hell's behind there?" And he's like. It's where we kill the cows, boy.
Didn't you hear the bell?
It's the slaughter bell. Yeah. That's the bell room, boy.
And then
you go into the house, and then you get that little push up dinner time, boy. And then you go to the, and then I remember you go into the house. Then Lee's like, "Oh, I need to wash my hands." And then obviously you go to wash your hands, and you see like the light underneath. You see like a jut of light coming out from under a thing, and then you push the bookcase. They've got like a whole secret room entrance thing.
Yeah.
Then you fucking see Mark. Like in the room, and he's like, "Don't eat the meat," or whatever.
The whole suspense that they build when you're like trying to get into the room with the little spy hole and moving the bookcase is so well
and it's
done.
even worse when you find Mark, and then suddenly the game cuts to gameplay, and like the screen goes all red, and it's like go to dinner.
Yeah, that's
and then
crazy.
It's even crazy because when you go down, when you actually go, down the stairs, and then you go to dinner. Like, just shouting at Clementine won't always do it. If you don't shout something that's urgent enough.
As direct enough.
I like how there's multiple ways to, like, fail that by getting Clementine to eat.
I think Duck inevitably eats it. He goes, "How he's fucking, like,
he's hungry.
Showing that down.
He's like...
And then Larry's like...
Why are you being so rude,
Larry's
Lee?
pissed as well. This lady has cooked you a dinner.
She's cooked you a meal, Lee.
The fuck
I'm like, it's human meat.
But if you hate Larry, don't worry.
No, next bit coming up.
We all know what's coming up.
But yeah, then there's that whole thing with y'all, we got y'all on the tape.
Yeah.
It's like
no, he's like, it would have been all right for you folks. Oh no,
would have been all right for you folks, but.
And then Brendan.
Yeah, to go.
Who's the one who spills? I think it's Brendan.
We here. Well, she's like, we here. I told my boys. Growing up in rural Georgia, I told my boys not to waste.
Yeah.
And then he grabs like, and then the fucking creepy one grabs like a plate and just goes.
Yeah.
After the revelation.
Yeah. Nothing should ever go to waste.
We only get people who was gonna die anyways.
Could have been right for y'all folks or something.
Yeah, and then she. I think she's the one that says, "Oh, it could have been all right." We only get folks who are gonna die.
Who were gonna die anyways.
Like y'all.
Yeah.
And that's so good.
Brilliant. And then you try to leave. I think you can either tell Kenny to strap up or you attempt to run, but then they like pull their rifles out, so you're kind of pinned in.
I do wonder what their plan was though.
What? Oh, what if
they never found out? Because like obviously at one point they'd be like, "What happened to Mark? Where's Mark?" He's like, "Oh, in the time he came up, he lost his legs."
Maybe the initial plan was to just get one of them, because out of Mark they got a substantial meal. Who knows? Maybe they would have tried to get them to leave the next day or over the next few days. Maybe they would have had this. Maybe they would have had this massive plan to sort of give them the impression this place was safe, and then slowly pick them off one by one.
I feel like they would ask about Mark after a day. They'd be like, "Oh, can we see Mark?"
Oh yeah, good point. Sorry, I'm not thinking straight.
And even if they
how
said,
would they cover it up?
Even if they said, "Oh, Mark's dead,"
yeah, you'd want to see him.
You'd want to see the body.
And if you saw the stage,
you saw the missing legs. You'd be like, "Okay, what happened here?" And then, God, that leads into in like the meat locker.
Yeah, this is my favorite episode of the whole season. You know,
that is, and it's so distressing.
It's brilliantly written.
Scene.
The villains are good. The villains are so good. Like Mark. I'm sorry, not Mark. Andy. The St. John's in general. They're so creepy, and they're so like the reveal is great. The shock, the twist. It's so good, and it's not even finished yet. It's not even finished yet. So they get shoved in the locker. Well, everyone gets shoved in the locker apart from Catcher and Duck. Who are kept out because I believe Catcher is needed for helping the cow.
I don't think they're gonna eat one of them, or maybe I don't know. But yeah, they need
Who
Catcher
for
they need Catcher for the because they're still having dairy with them. They're not just gonna eat meat. They need a little bit of like side stuff.
That diet's got to be balanced.
They've got to have a balanced diet. You've got to respect them. They are farmers. They know about nutrition.
At the end of the day, you know.
And then that whole thing in the meat locker is so stressful because you hear like Clementine's crying and it's like, oh my fucking God, how the hell are we gonna get out of here?
Yeah.
And then Kenny's like, we gotta. They
got
my family, Lee.
I knew Larry was gonna have a heart attack as soon as he started shouting.
Yeah.
As soon as he started shouting, I knew, okay, he's gonna have his.
Then
fit
Lily's
again.
like, oh please, and he's like,
Yeah.
There you go, goes
Now
down.
this is a big. We both did. Well, we did something different here, didn't we?
I'm pretty sure we did.
Larry's heart attack is indeed fatal because we don't have the drugs. We're trapped in this room, and yeah, you got to make the decision. You got to make the decision.
I think when I first played, I was on Team Kenny.
Kenny looks at that salt lick.
He's like,
he knows what's up.
You wanna try this out, Lee?
No. He's like really.
Listen, we got time more than later.
He's so adamant about it.
Yeah.
This is why I inevitably did what I did.
I think it's because
I didn't. But Kenny was so sort of submissive of even trying to save him, and I mean, it's sort of understandable because
he wants to get to his family.
Walker could turn into Walker at any second, but at the same time, to not even give Lily a chance, it's almost like he disguised the urgency of it with the fact that he just didn't like him anyway and wanted to kill him as soon as possible. Not thinking about the fact that his literal daughter is right there.
Well, I did want to kill him too, so that played into my decision to.
Do you know what's crazy? Do you remember I even said to you when I was playing? I said it might have been earlier in the episode or maybe even episode 1. I was like, if I get a chance to kill him, I'm going to kill him, and then I didn't.
You son of a bitch.
Then I didn't. I chose to try and help Lily, because I sympathised with her.
Yeah.
That's so fucking horrific.
I think
That's such a horrific.
Kenny is a little bit unreasonable in the aftermath when he's like he's like, I can't believe you didn't sound me back there.
This is the beginning of. This is the begin. Like, this was the first decision when I think my Lee and Kenny had a bit of friction because. This is the sort of
because he remembers that all until the very end of the season.
He does. And also, Kenny is a little bit of a hypocrite because there is no way. Because when Kenny is faced with one of his loved ones in a similar situation, he's so in disbelief that he writes off as if it's not even happening. So that's why I had a bit of a problem with Kenny and his hypocrisy.
Well, I think that's like him. His child getting infected is like sort of a taste of his own medicine, where he was so adamant. That's purposeful. He was so adamant about it, and now that it's happening to him, he suddenly realizes.
I was never gonna side with Kenny in that decision. I was like, I have to try and help him, and then he does it anyway, which is I think I would choose that every time to try and help Larry because I like Lily, and also it's just such a horrible thing to do.
I know.
Like, Lily is right fucking. She's there. She's right there.
And then I think I always just ended up siding with Kenny because I liked Kenny.
It's so horrific as well. Like, the Walking Dead game doesn't hold back with.
It's violent as fuck.
With showing the deaths, like the nature of some of the deaths is they don't hold back at all.
God, and Clementine's in the room too, like, and she has to watch it all.
He drops she cries, I think, after immediately.
And that's probably why helping Lily is probably the better option there
in that situation.
Because Clementine gets to see you.
I mean,
trying to help before he dies.
Kenny drops a salt lick, and you literally all you see is Larry's jaw, his massive jaw.
His fucking head explodes.
Yeah. That's all you see, and it's so.
And Kenny's like, "Listen, I'm sorry, we gotta find a way out of here." He's like, he walks back and he's like, "Fuck, we gotta get out of here now."
I don't know how Lily. Maybe just because she was so distraught. She was probably so distraught she couldn't do anything. But I almost wanted her to attack Kenny. I'm gonna be honest. Kenny annoyed me in that situation.
I got why he did it though, because he's like.
I mean, in the end,
he doesn't want to risk like.
You probably don't regret doing it though, right? Because later on, it helped you out in Kenny being on your side.
Yeah, me and Kenny we were teammates.
If you played it again, would you do it the same thing?
Maybe not.
Oh.
Because there are moments where you can side with Kenny, and you can still get him in your good books.
Yeah, you can. Basically, Kenny. Cut this. We can cut this.
Oh fuck!
Save your phone.
Oh shit! I just spilt Pepsi fucking everywhere.
I'll get some tissues.
I'm such a bitch. How the fuck did I do that? How did I do that? Okay, so then you go from out of the meat locker, then there's that thing where you get to choose a little weapon to use in the slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
Like that little section, you do a little sneaking about. Then you fucking fuck him. Not fuck him, but you attack him. You fuck him up.
Yeah.
And then that leads to the decision with the pitchfork, and you're like, oh, should I fucking spear him right now, or should I like?
Yeah, this is one of the first decisions I actually regretted immediately.
I remember you fucking murdered him.
You know, I reckon a lot of people did the same as me.
Yeah.
You got that hatred inside of you. You kill him, and then as soon as I didn't even know Clementine was behind me. Yeah. As soon as the thing came up saying Clementine, remember that,
and it cuts to her.
And she's like gasping.
Yeah.
Fuck, man, I regretted that so quickly.
I know.
Instantaneous regret.
I know. Well, I think I I also just kind of thought that he's probably going to die anyway.
And then you made me feel even worse, because after I did it, I was like, yo, did you choose that too? And you were like, nah. And I was like, fuck.
I was like, not in a million years, bitch.
Like, that's how much I cared about Clementine, though. I was so upset that my
That you fucking
relationship with her had
traumatized her.
taken like a step back or something.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, man.
Well, no, I think my logic was like I didn't want to fuck him up in front of Clementine, and I mean he was probably going to die anyway because I think he was in a bear trap
Don't
too.
you get it? Yeah, I regretted that. In fact, I regretted it so much that when the Andy choice came up in a second, I didn't kill him, did I?
No.
I just left him.
But no, that whole I do agree. That whole thing on the farm is like great.
Yeah,
It's such a great
that's how
episode.
the episode ends, right?
Yeah, you leave the farm.
That's a 9 out of 10 episode for me.
You think so? It's a 9 out of 10.
Best of season 1. In
You
fact,
think?
probably top 5 episodes of the entire thing.
Of the
Like,
entire
whole
Telltale
thing,
thing. Okay.
Actually, no. No, maybe not top 5. Actually, it has to be if it's my best in season 1. Top 4, top 3, maybe.
Ooh.
Is that giving hints away?
Oh look, we can do like.
I know what my favorite episode is of the entire thing.
We'll get to it.
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah.
After episode 2, you get episode 3.
Baby.
And episode 3 starts with. I think I remember that being the longest. I think that episode
So
feels the
much
longest.
happens. So many different settings.
And because it, I remember when I played these with my mum when we did a playthrough of it. Like around the time episode 3 came, we took like a year-long break in between it just because it was so long and then things were going on, and then we came back to it eventually.
That might be like a 2.5-hour episode.
It is probably
It's
long.
nuts.
But I do think that like that is probably one of the most important episodes of season 1 though.
Oh yeah, you meet
Because
important
obviously,
characters.
and then you get, I think at the beginning of that, I do like the beginning where you have to figure out who is trading food to the bandits, and then Lily's
That's at the very
paranoid.
beginning, if you remember.
What's the very
beginning is when they're in Macon. It's Kenny and Lee.
Oh yeah, and then
And they're going for supplies in the pharmacy.
oh yeah, and then there's the girl who like comes out of the building
Yeah.
screaming.
You kill her or not?
I think I killed her.
Did you?
I think I did.
didn't, because that meant I think it's if you kill her, you have less time to get supplies.
Yeah, well you get a longer time
Yeah,
period
so
to grab
basically,
things.
what's your moral compass?
Kenny's
saying?
like, let that girl die.
Yeah, I
Lee."
think I sided with Kenny on that occasion.
Yeah. God.
But yeah, because I think it actually like it meant you had like so much time. Because I remember watching a playthrough afterwards of someone who didn't. And you genuinely just have less time to grab stuff.
Yeah,
So I was kind of happy.
I do think that whole opening section is good. Like having to.
It's like we're this far into the apocalypse now. Where's your ethical standpoint?
Like
Are you
she's
gonna
gonna
kill this
die
lady?
either way. It's like,
Yeah.
do you risk like blowing your whole thing
Yeah,
just to end her suffering, or is it just gonna be like just let her die like she's meant to be?
yeah, it's
I like
good.
that I like the whole, and also just grabbing supplies thing. It's way more tense
Yeah.
to have to grab them yourself. Like you're hovering over
You feel
and you
you
gotta
feel a
grab
sense
it.
of responsibility.
Yeah, like oh fuck, I
Like,
gotta grab all
am I
this
quick
shit.
enough? Yeah.
And then yeah, that is a good opening section because I think they just want to start it with a bang, and then you come back
Yeah.
to the camp, and then Lily's like, oh, I think somebody is stealing from the.
Oh yeah. No, you go into the you go into the room with Lily,
Go into her
Kenny,
room.
Carly, and Lee.
And then
And
she's like, listen.
Lily just like well, depending on how you do, she either
She kind of acts accusatory to Kenny and like Carly. She's like, any
Yeah.
one of you could be.
yeah, but she has a really she's like pissed.
She is
She's
pissed.
so pissed that you have to leave and then come back later to talk about the thieving.
And then I think she's also mad that Kenny at that time is like, I think we should leave the motel.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I'm thinking if shit goes sideways, Lee, I want you on my back. We can take Clementine and the
Yeah.
RV and go, you know. And then
Yeah,
I
he
do
does.
like that whole opening conflict. And then Lily's like, hey Lee, I need you to, you know, scope out, have a look around.
Yeah, and I mean, I think in between you have the Carly scene where she basically tries to convince you to tell people about your past, and I think she kisses you on the cheek, which is like the first sort of
There you go.
romance.
And then like I do like having the option to like go out and tell people stuff because that does come up later if you don't mention
I think
it.
you can literally have certain people who don't know about it.
I want to say I told Kenny. I want to say first time I did,
think
I
when
told Kenny.
I think when I played it, I genuinely didn't want anyone to know, but I did it because I wanted Carly on my in
your good books, yeah.
So I think I told certain people.
I didn't tell
tell
Clem.
Ben. I didn't tell Ben.
And I didn't tell Clementine.
Didn't tell Clem.
No.
Maybe I didn't.
I don't think I was in my mind. I was like, I don't think she's gonna understand it. She wouldn't understand it. Like if I just went to.
To be honest, Lee is so frank about it when he tells Clementine. It's almost kind of weird.
I killed my wife.
Yeah,
You know?
it's kind of uncomfortable.
She was kind of a bitch. And he's like, oh, okay.
She literally just says okay.
And then I did tell Kenny.
I told everyone but Ben.
Yeah, Ben. Well, because Ben at that point, you barely know him.
Kenny reacts understandably. I think he genuinely says to you, just so you know, if it comes down to choosing people to get on the boat, this will matter or something. I think he says that. I could be wrong.
No.
I think he says that.
I definitely know that he's more positive to you if you tell him early on, because that comes up.
I told him that's what he said to me. He was like, "This will matter," but that might be because
you were mean to him before.
Could be.
You didn't side with him before.
Could be.
But I definitely remember he was like, "Listen, Lee. Yeah, thanks for telling me.
Thanks for telling me.
Thanks for telling me that." That's what I'm trying to say. But no, that I like that whole opening section. It is a little slow because obviously you got to walk around and like find clues to like detective thing. It is good. It is good character development for Duck. Obviously before he dies though, because he's like
spoilers.
Oh yeah,
okay,
sorry.
No one's
that,
watching this.
Who hasn't watched it? No. But then
you get that's probably that's
Duck's highlight.
time in the limelight.
Well, that's because they wanna
the spotlight.
We honestly haven't seen Duck that much because we just know that he's Kenny's kid, but like it's good to have him be like, I'm gonna be I'm your Robin.
Yeah, his positivity rubs off.
Yeah, and he's like looking around and he's finding clues, and he is being useful because he finds the chalk that.
Yeah, he does. The pink chalk.
Yeah, pink chalk.
That he relates to Clementine.
And then because Clementine goes, somebody's stealing my chalk, and he's like, who do you think did it?
Yeah, I mean,
the whole opening section is like fine, and then you get the bandits fucking come and attack.
I don't know who I don't think I knew who had like I didn't know who the person portraying the group was at the time.
I don't know.
I think I thought it was between Ben. Oh, I did have a sneak feeling it was Ben.
That's
or did I? It's because who else would it be? Kenny's loyal. Catcher, no.
Why would she?
Duck and Clem, no.
Carly, no.
Lily, hell no. She's the one who bloody exposed her.
So yeah, Ben is really the only one who you could think.
Which is weird because I was still shocked when I
found out. I was still like, Ben, how could you?
It's probably the fact he admitted it.
Well, I probably thought it was just like somebody else who we don't know yet.
Yeah.
It's somebody like going in at night and then marking it and then stealing things, rather than like Ben. Even though when you go up to Ben and ask him, he's like, no, I didn't do anything, man. I'm totally in it. It's like, come on.
Yeah, it's so obvious. If you play it back, it's so obvious that he's
involved. Yeah. So then you do all that, and then you get the and then like that whole section of like ducking out of cover, shooting. That's fine, but like, and then you have to escape.
It's a good bit of combat.
Escape in the RV, and then that whole bit in the RV where like Lily's like, oh fuck, okay, things are ramping up. You genuinely don't kind of know. I think at that point, by the time the RV came around, I kind of had a feeling it was Ben.
Oh, especially when they started arguing.
Yeah, and he was like, I don't know what
maybe
you're
we should
saying.
He's...
And then Carly's kind of like...
Carly's on Ben's side.
Yeah, and then she's defending him, and then that whole like build up to everything, and then everyone's just arguing with each other, and then Kenny's like, I gotta pull over the dam.
I actually think
the axle.
That's probably one of the best things that people who created the Walking Dead game, like that's one of the things they're best at, is creating environments that go from being sort of civil with each other to an environment where everyone is just shouting at each other.
Well, they're good at character drama,
but they're so good at it. They're so good at escalating drama. It's and that's one of the first times. It's one of the first times.
Well, yeah, but this is the one where it's like a big.
This is the first time that it means something because a big event happens.
So then you go out, and then she stops by the road, and she's like, "Listen, we're gonna have to do this," and then you sort of have to. And then I don't think I was ever really on Lily's side at that point, because I think at that point, like the camp.
No, low key. When I played it for the second time, I was on Lily's side, and obviously until she did what she did. But I remember thinking like, what the fuck? We've just been kicked out of our home because of whoever just messed us up. And I did find it a bit weird that Carly was so against trying to find out who it was. But obviously, I liked Carly.
I think it's more just because she was protected of Ben because he is like a teenager.
But low key, it makes like Lily's anger is justified. It's just she took it way too far.
Yeah.
Like she had the right to be pissed off, but what she did is just so stupid and so like nonsensical. And then you actually see a scene where she just sort of like reaches behind her. And obviously, when I was playing it for the first time, I was so engaged. Like I was so like
going up, like focused on what the conversation was.
I didn't really see it.
Well, yeah, and then Kenny he goes like, "What the fuck is going on?" And then
and then she
fucking shoots her.
I was so angry because I liked Lily, but I like
Carly.
I like Carly a lot.
That's because Carly sort of doesn't try to like. She isn't as like fucking forward. Like, oh, we gotta do this. We gotta do this.
I was gonna say, depending on what you do, you lose two characters. You basically do because Lily leaves later on anyway. You lose two very good characters. Like in a short space of time. I was just it's a good death in terms of
shock.
Yeah, like shock
and
value
like impact.
and impact. But man, Carly, she was one of the best characters.
I know.
In the first season.
Fuck, and then she dies, and then
you get the big. Well, probably the big decision of episode 3 is whether you keep Lily.
Well, that only becomes apparent by the time season 4 comes around.
Yeah.
That's only a big decision by season 4.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
So yeah, then they get to like, I think I just left her because like at that point.
Oh yeah, I left.
Why would you bring her
Even though
along?
I had been siding with Lily mainly, and I liked Lily more than did I like her more than Kenny at the time? It was close, certainly. Even though I kind of liked Lily, I just you can't.
Not at that point.
You can't keep her on board.
So yeah, then you find out about Duck, and then I don't know who tells you. Is it Katja?
Yeah, Katja. She's like she basically.
She's like, Lee, do you want to tell? Oh, she's like, do you want to tell Clementine? And then you have the scene where Clementine's like next to you on the RV, and she's like, oh, how's Duck doing? And then you have to explain to her about like why you left Lily there, and it's so fucking just. And then God, they fucking get you with. You fall asleep, and then when you wake up, fucking Clementine turns into a walker, and you're like, holy fucking shit. For a sec, like,
can you imagine if that was like?
I played for the first time. I was like, "Holy shit!"
Imagine you wake up and Duck's just murdered everyone.
But yeah, that whole thing with Clementine, and it's like it just keeps highlighting her like fall into having to like move on as a child.
Yeah, dealing with a lot of loss. I mean, Duck was the only person her age.
Yeah,
really.
It's probably the only person like her age that she knows and meets until like season 4. And that is Gabe, but.
Is he even a character?
Is he even a person?
Do I even consider him as part of?
Is he a human?
I'm kidding.
But so then you get that scene with Clementine, and then you arrive at the train, which I think is probably that's sort of on the same level as the pharmacy, where it's like a slower.
I literally say
It's a slower pace, like puzzling moment, and I'm not too big on it. But you do meet Chuck.
You meet Chuck, yeah.
Chuck McGill.
Chuck. Like I kind of like to compare him to is he called Dale in the TV series, being that sort of wise character who's sort of in the background but always giving you small bits of advice, being your just the wise guy.
Because he's just like a random homeless person they meet, and he's like he could have just murdered them all.
But he actually ends up being very important in the development of Clementine. He tells
he tells her to cut her hair. He's like, if you don't
cutting her hair, teaches him tells Lee to teach her how to shoot. Sort of the building blocks for Clem becoming the survivor she does.
That's true.
Later on.
Yeah, I mean, for as sort of repetitive, especially on replays, for as repetitive and sort of like slow of a slog that train section can be, when you do get the train up and running, it does lead to like some of the like one of the most important scenes in the entire franchise, which is that moment where Lee's like, "I got to teach you how to survive."
Yeah.
Like that's the basis, and it even comes back in season 4. There's flash.
That scene is so important because it really like drives home the importance to Clem about survival and how to survive.
Well, yeah, that's like the moment where he's probably
so many examples later on in the seasons where there's other characters who haven't been told like Clem, and we've seen what it does. Characters who get sheltered, such as Sarah, who doesn't really get exposed to what the exposed to what the apocalypse is really like. You see the impact.
Then you obviously get like the keep your hair short thing, which is like that's almost like a running thing that gets mentioned at least once every single season. They say to keep your hair short, and that whole scene is just great.
Yeah, you meet Chuck, but the whole getting the train stop. I don't think they'd be able to get it going, to be honest.
No, probably not.
Realistic.
But I mean,
suspend disbelief.
And I think it is also it's build up to, because obviously that entire time we know that something's going to have to be done with Duck at some point. And then Kenny the entire time is just like,
he's very distant.
He's like, he's going to be fine. We don't need to think about this. He's not like, because obviously he's finally experiencing what Lily felt.
Yeah.
But he feels it on like even longer period, because for Lily it was like that. Like, oh shit, now my dad's dying.
Oh yeah,
but for him it's like a prolonged thing where he is constantly like, no, we can,
This is a pivotal moment for how Kenny acts for the rest of the entire game.
For the rest of the entire series, pretty much.
The whole thing from when they stop the train to when they get back on is one of the most heartbreaking scenes of the entire thing.
It's so, and he's fucking crying as well. It's so because that whole time when you're with Kenny for the whole time, he's kind of like the macho.
It would be bad enough if Duck just died, but the fact that Katja kills herself because she can't face
that is
killing
so
herself,
fucking depressing, bro.
so depressing, and yeah,
because that's when like Kenny's whole like persona of I'm gonna get the job done. I'm the guy who's gonna protect his family and get the job done.
Yeah.
Just completely falls apart, and he starts crying. And you got to give the performances too. Like we should say, the performances across the entire series are pretty great. It was a good performance by Kenny's like voice actor, and all of season 1 is pretty strong.
Oh yeah, I actually think he's one of the. He might be the strongest voice actor of the entire. I'll be honest, he's probably the strongest voice actor of the entire.
Yeah, he's
thing.
great. And then like God, that whole thing, and then you sort of have to
remember. I let him kill his son. I didn't. As Lee, I didn't.
Oh yeah, then you get that sort of gets him in his bad books because he was like, I hoped that you would help me.
Even though
that.
I thought.
You thought that would be better.
I wrongly thought it would be better.
Go on, Kenny, kill your own son.
I just thought I think the mindset I had going into it is that
he should
as
do
a
it
father,
himself.
you'd want to be the one to do it, not someone else. But yes, I get it. Like, I think the second time I played it, I obviously.
Yeah, but I wouldn't want to pull the plug on my own son if they were dying of like a terminal illness.
No, but I just.
And the doctor would be like.
I remember thinking that I wouldn't want just someone else to do it. I just want to be the one.
Yeah. Well, I guess Kenny was just like.
Yeah,
he couldn't handle like that on top of it.
Yeah, I realised that after the second time I played it, I changed that.
Oh yeah, and then that's like the whole the train journey that leads to like the iconic cut your hair short, make a plan, learn how to shoot a gun, and then I wonder where does episode 3 end?
They get to a bridge where trucks collapsed.
Oh, they meet. Oh yeah, we didn't
even.
I can't believe they actually meet them. Jesus, there's so much going on.
Yeah, it's episode 3 because remember episode 4 is solely pretty much Crawford.
Crawford, yeah. And then then they meet Krista and Omid, who are like, they're honestly just a nice sort of shake up of pace because obviously we just had one of the most depressing things that could happen.
Yeah, I mean the whole group at that point is kind of just on the ropes.
Yeah.
So to have 2 new characters who seem positive.
Yeah. It's to like it is like we've said before, it is to like make sure that it's not so like overly depressing. It's just like a way of being like, okay.
Even the music starts to pick up.
Yeah.
In that scene.
And then Omid is just like, hey, so what are you guys
Omid's
doing here?
Omid and Krista are really good characters.
They are good.
Yeah, you meet I think you go up to the top and you introduce yourself. And then when you come back down, you have another scene where you get to meet and talk to people.
For being introduced so late into the season 1, when they don't have as much character development as Kenny would have had because he's been in episode 1.
Yeah.
Like they just come in like near the end of episode 3. Yeah. They're good. They get like a lot of characterization.
I mean, to be honest, Krista especially, if you think about the whole series, if you think about the series as a whole, she is so important.
Yeah.
She is such a big factor. Although it doesn't get explored that much, she must be one of the most important figures to Clementine.
Clementine, she must be, yeah.
Because of how much time she spends with her.
Yeah, in between like the beginning of season 2, but that's the season 2 thing.
Yeah,
but season 1, and then you go to that little like, you go to look around for like a welding thing. That's more of like the exploring type of thing, which is okay. But the best parts of those exploring things are like talking to Clementine and having her with you.
Oh yeah, when you go to the
train station.
The train station.
Mm.
And Clem basically calls you a team, and it's wholesome, and
yeah.
And then Krista questions like your influence. No, she doesn't question the influence on her, but she questions your like methods.
I think she's like, do you know how to take care of that?
I remember being so pissed. Do you remember how pissed I was at Krista?
You were.
Said that? I was so angry.
Well, I think she just.
I didn't know she was pregnant. Obviously, it was
Yeah.
like her instincts kicking in.
Yeah, and I think she was just like, I think she could kind of tell that Lee wasn't like her dad, wasn't like Clementine's dad.
Yeah.
So she was like, oh, do you know what you're doing?
Yeah.
With this, so she's just looking at. She doesn't know Lee. Okay, well, we know Lee's like the dad of the year, but like she was just like, you got to test him out. Yeah. Then even like some of the stuff with, like even the bits where you're going back to the train and then you can talk to Omid and you can have like the Civil War. Because obviously Lee's like a Civil War
he's history teacher, isn't he?
Fuck, I forgot. On the train, Ben. That's where Ben tells you.
Oh, how the fuck? There's
a lot going on. There's a lot going on.
Okay, so at this point, I'm pissed at Ben.
I'm like, fuck Ben.
And I'm pissed at Krista.
Fuck Krista.
Yeah. And I don't know how I didn't pick up that Krista was pregnant until the very end. I didn't know she was pregnant until
season 2.
No, it was season 1, episode 5 when Lee says to her, "You're carrying for two."
Carrying for 2.
I was like, what?
Well, it is subtle.
Yeah, I know. But I feel like I should have picked up on it. Anyway, yeah. So
Yeah, then you cut down the thing, and then you like go on the train.
I think you have to save Christopher or Mead.
Oh no, you have the.
Help.
Oh yeah, when you're running across the train.
Yeah.
And then I remember. I think I do remember.
Whoever you save just gets pissed at you. Like if you save Mead, he's like, "Get her, not me," and then she just does it, vice versa.
Even though Omid, I feel like would probably be like, yeah, that's the right thing to do because Krista is pregnant, even though you don't know at the time.
Yeah.
I think maybe I might have saved Omid just because his leg was busted.
Yeah, but no. You save Krista, she's like, get him, his leg's fucked. And then if you get Krista, and if you get,
it's like he's like
he doesn't say it though, does he?
Yeah, he doesn't say it, but he's kind of like, you can tell he's really.
Probably would help the cause more though. She's pregnant, goddammit.
She's fucking pregnant, bitch. And then you're like, oh fuck, okay.
They've got inhuman speed though. The fact they were able to catch her with
that train.
Yeah.
It was
Can you imagine if just one of them just not in the story from then on? Can you imagine? They get left behind.
Or fucking Omid got pushed off the bridge and dies. And we're just like, we introduce him as like the fun, character, and then he just fucking dies. In fairness though, as soon as he gets his leg cut open, he's barely in the rest of season 1. Like a lot of it is just him in like the hospital bed. And then Krista's like, oh, we got to get shit for Omid.
Yep.
So that is that present. And then so that's the ending of episode 3.
That is, well, yeah. The guy, the stranger, I think they call him.
Yeah.
He calls.
And then we realise that
hello,
Clementine has been. And we realise Clementine has been like communicating with someone over the walkie-talkies.
Yeah.
And then that's it. Episode 3.
Episode 3.
Episode 4.
Episode 4, baby.
Episode 4. That starts with them already in like Savannah, right?
Yeah.
Then they're like walking around a bit, and then they see fucking Molly. They introduce Molly.
She's like she's roof hopping, and setting the bells off.
And like calling the bells.
They try and make you think that she's the stranger, but obviously we find out she isn't in the end. Chuck, they get into a fight with Walkers and Chuck.
Get separate.
Oh no! Ben doesn't save Clementine.
Oh fuck!
Oh my! This is so
real beef.
Thing is, you remember, I didn't mind Ben that much. I think you were. I think I was a lot more forgiving of Ben than you were.
And I was like, "Fuck Ben."
But but when he did that, it's so easy. Like it was so easy for him to just grab her arm and like
bring her along with it.
Just fucked off by himself.
And it's like, really, Ben? Well, you are not on good terms, and you need
so
to
irresponsible. Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Liability.
All my homies hate Ben.
Yeah.
Fuck Ben. But yeah, and then Chuck. Then I think that's where. Is that the last time we see Chuck?
Alive.
Jesus, he's not in it for as long as I remember him.
No, but he is important though.
He is important,
because of those
the haircuts
enlightening scenes.
That's true. But yeah, then you go into that. You go into that house where you find like that fucking house. You find the fucking well, you need to dig up a dead dog, and then use its collar, and it's like, all right, this is depressing enough. Clementine fucking crawls in at light speed. I remember seeing that. You open the door and he's like, I guess we gotta fucking runs in. I'm like, Clementine, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. But Clem knows what she's doing though.
Apparently so. And then she opens the door and you walk around the house, and then Kenny like wanders up to the attic, and then you're sort of walking around and you're like, oh, what's going on? Then up in the attic you get like a kid who kind of looks like Duck.
He does look a lot like
And he's like, oh fuck, what am I gonna have to do? And then God, I don't know even if there is the option for Kenny to. Is there an option for Kenny to like kill the kid himself? I think there might be.
I don't know. I think I just remember killing him.
I definitely remember
I think surely it's. I think Lee does it no matter what. You just choose what method you kill him. You either step on his head, which is not the
pretty
best
gruesome. You can shoot him,
or you like
hit him with like a spanner,
or axe or something. Yeah, I don't know.
No, it's just you collect it from the train. There's something you collect from the train.
Yeah, I think I chose that because the gunshot would be too loud.
Yeah, and the boot would be a little grim.
Yeah, it would be grim.
So you kill it, and he's like an emaciated child, and he's like so skinny, and it's so and you get like the story probably behind it is that he
starved because his family died.
Yeah, so he obviously didn't get bitten. He just died of starvation.
Yeah. Oh, that is sad, man. He can be, and he's not even threatening as a walker because he can barely stand.
Yeah. God, fucking hell.
And it's it's an impactful scene because of what just happened to Kenny. And Kenny, he's still dealing with that trauma, obviously.
Poor fucking Kenny, man. Yeah. Give that man a break.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you bury. I remember you bury the kid.
Oh yeah.
Maybe in like the dog grave. You might even bury him in the grave of the dog.
I think you do it next to it, no?
Near it, yeah, somewhere near it. And you have to like pay.
I mean, yeah.
You have to painstakingly dig the grave, and
I
then
know.
Clementine's watching, and it's like, fucking hell, this
God,
is
episode 4 starts so fucking tragic.
depressingly. It doesn't get much better.
Yeah.
And then you
Omid's crippled.
Omid is crippled. So
He's
you're like,
in
oh, we
there.
got to go look out for things, and I think
Why do they go? Remember, because remember Kenny.
Well, they look for the boat.
Oh, the boat. Yeah.
Yeah, and then this is like Kenny's last hope is like, we got to get this boat. This is the
Yeah.
last thing he's got in his life.
Everything they've been doing, pretty much since episode 1, has been leading up to them finding this boat that will help them live.
And the boat isn't even fucking
And
there.
it isn't there, and they've all been
And they're
taken
fucked. And then like, there's like a boat which is like fucking got a
destroyed.
shaft through it.
Yeah.
And then Kenny's like, we just need a transformer for that
Yeah.
thing to get it working. It's like, really? I think that thing is like fuck beyond belief.
I think they used. Did he say that?
Well, he was like, we just need a transformer for this. We needed like an engine.
Isn't that for the boat they find in the garage though?
No, that's later. I'm
Oh,
pretty sure
okay,
that's
okay.
later. Because remember, Clementine goes missing the first time she goes missing, and you're looking around, and then she's in there.
Oh yeah, you find her in.
And that's after that initial revelation of, oh
yeah.
fuck, there are no boats here.
You find Molly, obviously. Molly's an interesting character.
Molly comes down from the roof, and then she's like
Very
fucking around.
comparable to Jane in the next season.
Well, she's sort of like a weaker version of Jane, I would say, as a
Weaker
character.
in the sense that
Character weaker.
Yeah. Only because we don't know as much about her as Jane.
And that's where you find the big wall of like corpses.
Yeah, and you're like, what the fuck is that?
And they're like,
Molly
oh yeah,
tells you that.
Crawford. They like kill people who are like
She keeps
sick.
looking at Clem like, you really aren't from here, are you?
Yeah, well, because
Oh yeah, Clem comes out of nowhere because Ben
That fucking
was meant to
asshole.
look after her
Yeah,
again,
yeah.
and he fucking
Classic Ben.
He lets her walk across half of town
Hmm.
to find Kenny and Lee.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've got that is like a through line throughout
Pathetic.
all of like the seasons, is that there's at least one character that people go like, this is the annoying character
Yeah.
who everyone hates. With
Yeah.
season 3, it's every character, but with season 1, I'm joking.
Season 4, it's meant to be 10.
Yeah.
But we'll get to our opinions.
If
on
you
10.
think, if you
No, don't, because you know a lot
Yeah.
of people hate him.
Ugh, for God's sake. Anyway, okay, so then, yeah, season 1 you get Molly, and then Molly's basically just there to kind of like explain what Crawford is, and then you have like the plan. Oh, we're gonna break into Crawford.
Yeah.
Then do the thing. Oh, because then you come back. And then Clementine goes missing, and you're like, hey, where did Clementine go? And then you find another boat, and that's when Kenny. Because I remember Kenny's like drinking as soon as he comes back from the boat.
with
He's
Ben.
like drinking alcohol, and then you're like, Ben, you were supposed to watch Clementine, and he's like, I don't know, she just kind of ran off.
No. His excuse is that he had to go and help her meet with Krista, and he just
He was helping her meeting Krista by standing next to Kenny with a
can't
bottle.
watch her all the time or something.
Like, yeah, I don't have like eyes in the back of my head. It's like, shut the fuck up.
This is sort of the game prodding you with where is your tether on Ben?
Yeah.
Like how much are you gonna?
When is he gonna let
like,
this bitch
yeah.
die?
How long is it gonna be until you say, yeah, Ben, you've done too much?
Yeah.
It's time.
And then then there's obviously Clementine runs off. Then you find the other boat, and then that's when.
God, those scenes really fucking put you on edge, though, don't you? You know the scenes where Clem goes missing.
Mm.
The music sort of ramps up. Lee's like frantic. It really does.
Yeah, and it's like
fucking make you
nobody
worry.
else is stressed,
Yeah, and
which
it's
is
just-
stressful.
Yeah. And
'Cause, like,
it's
Kenny's
like you're
drunk.
pissed off with them.
Kenny's
isn't it?
drunk, and then Ben just has no idea what he's doing.
And you've also got that thought of the stranger looming in the back of your head.
Yeah, and then Lee's like, why the fuck isn't anybody paying attention?
Yeah.
Oh fuck, did we forget?
What?
Even before then, you go into the sewer, right?
Oh my god, yeah, you do.
There's so much shit.
What the fuck?
I'm sorry, our memories are terrible. But yeah, okay, forget what we just said.
No. We can briefly go over this.
So yeah,
We can be brief. You go into the sewers because
You
you
get
get
walkers
crowded in
come.
by walkers. You don't have enough time to make.
And
it
this is before finding the boat. Not before
That's
finding the
after.
boat. This is before finding the boat
the
in
boat
the
that Clem
house.
finds. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you go into the sewer, but this is where you find
Chuck dead. You try and navigate these mazy lanes, and then you find Chuck along the way.
yeah,
It's
dead.
a sad moment.
And then but you also find the people who escaped
The
Crawford.
cancer survivors.
Like the old people, yeah.
So you got Vernon, Bree.
Fucking hell, you remember his name?
Yeah, Vernon, man.
God.
Vernon's a dick.
I gotta
I've
remember
got to
that.
remember Vernon.
Yeah.
Vernon, Bree, and then you've got I think you've got a few characters who are in 400 Days.
They show up in 400 Days, yeah.
Yeah. The only one you like that really matters is Vernon, though.
Mm.
He's like the leader of that.
Well, yeah, because because he's a doctor, you say, oh, we need help with
Yeah.
a guy back at our group.
There's a sort of important. It's not really a decision, but it's basically method of approach as to how you get him on your side.
Oh yeah,
You're
because you can
aggressive.
just be like, I'm gonna fucking
Yeah, you can be.
pull my gun
You
out.
basically threaten and scare him, or you can be, more friendly.
Yeah.
And understanding. I think I went with the latter. That's my approach. Obviously, like
because he's an old man.
It'd be a bit weird.
Holding a gun.
Like my Lee has been like that the whole time, and just suddenly
goes, "Fuck you, old man! I'm gonna fucking kill you."
So you get Vernon on side because he's a doctor as well.
Oh, and then I think he gets the idea of, if you guys want to,
well, because because they live down there, he knows the sewers. He knows inside out,
and he knows Crawford. They keep.
So you bring him back to the house. You don't bring Bree yet though, do you? No, you get Bree later. Actually,
you get Bree later.
He's like, oh yeah, she went to the school. She knows. Yeah.
But yeah, there's that whole thing, and then that's where they prepare to, and then you can bring Clementine along with you or not. That's pretty big because then you get some character dialogue with her in the school.
Yeah.
You bring her along.
Yeah, I actually think it's better to bring her genuinely because well, we both brought her, but otherwise I think the alternative is that she's left with Omid.
Ben.
No, because Ben comes with you.
Oh god,
that's later on where you.
He does, doesn't he? Oh
yeah, that's later on where you get to. That's a funny scene later on.
But yeah, it took just Omid.
Yeah.
And then like Omid could turn at any moment, so there's a chance. Yeah, so then you can bring her along, and then we brought her with us because we were like, we don't trust.
Plus, you just get more scenes with her.
Yeah, and it's like, it's Clementine. Come on. And then you take.
You know she's not gonna die.
No,
it's Claire, man.
But then you go to Crawford, and I think initially they think, we're gonna have to do like a stealthy because it's gonna be humans. Because they initially think, nobody gets in and out of Crawford, it's like secure. And as soon as you arrive, there are zombies everywhere. And it's like, oh fuck, I guess.
It's actually quite a cool scene where you see a walker, but it's turned to his back, so you think he's a guard. You go up to like stealthily kill him, and then it gets revealed he's a walker, and they're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's like, this place is not very secure. No. Maybe killing all like the smart old people probably fucked everyone over, but
Crawford is a really good setting.
Well, the school, like that whole school, I like that school.
It's one of the, because obviously throughout the whole Walking Dead universe, you have so many settlements. But I think Crawford's a very interesting one with their sort of strictness.
Well, they're like eugenics.
Even when you sort of explore the old school halls and whatever, you get to see all the posters and propaganda that they spread and stuff. With the leader there's a picture of him on there as well. Anyway, yeah. So once you get in,
then you go into the school because like the walkers.
Yeah, and it ends up being better that there's walkers there. Because at the end, you're gonna rather fight a
bunch of slow walking dudes than like actual humans
armed with guns.
And then that whole section's kind of middling, where you just have to sort of wander about and then like find.
Yeah, it's a whole. It's probably the most explorative episode.
Probably
because they really sort of try.
Maybe behind 3, but there's a lot of like you got to walk around the school and like find things.
Yeah,
I don't mind that. You get some more stuff with Molly, but
find about her past and stuff.
Well, yeah, you can. I think if you can find out about her like sister or whatever.
The tape as well. You find out.
And then like that, then you find the transformer thing, engine.
Oh yeah.
And then you get the transformer. She puts it snugly in her backpack, just like
Lee just puts it in his back pocket.
Yeah, he just like let me put this away. Well, that's like in every game.
That's amazing.
My mum always brings that up because I think she doesn't understand that like
that's how games.
It's probably going to take a lot more time to like have a whole bag.
A massive fucking shovel.
Well, no, there's like times where like someone will grab a spear or something and just like.
Yeah, but also it's just
put it in her back pocket
to animate them holding.
Yeah, and it's like they do not have a lot of time. They don't have a big budget.
It's all about the story, man.
But yeah, and then
Kenny and that put the axe in the door to prevent walkers from getting in. And then you turn around the corner and Ben's got it in his hands, and you're like, hang on, that's meant to be in the door, stopping the walkers. And then he's like, well, I found this axe conveniently.
No, we can. It was just right in between there, almost like it was blocking the door.
Fucking
you dumbass. And then the fucking zombies pour in, and it's like, oh fuck. And then you go into the classroom, and then Bree's right next to the door, and she's just like, we've got to, and then she fucking gets
no. They're trying to get through the armory, and they're all arguing, and this is when Ben stupidly, so fucking idiotically decides this is the moment.
This is the moment.
Right now, when we're trying to fucking escape this place where we might all just die anyway.
Lee, I gotta be honest.
This is the perfect moment to tell Kenny
that you are responsible for the death of his wife and child.
Yeah.
Hey Kenny, by the way, I know we're trying to get out, and then Kenny's like, "Wait, this can wait, kid. And he's like, he's giving you the chance."
Kenny's even because I reckon Kenny knows that Ben's about to tell him something to piss him off, but Kenny knows. No, I don't want to hear that right now. I'm focusing on getting us out of here. This ain't the time, Ben.
This ain't the time, Ben. And then he goes, then he reveals it.
Says it like a. And then you get the, do you vote to kick him out or not? And
well, then Kenny's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
And then Bree says, don't we get a vote? And then she gets like
fucking attacked. Yeah.
So, you know.
Then Kenny has to like put off murdering this guy.
I think I chose beat his ass later.
Yeah.
Kenny, you can beat his ass.
You can beat his skinny ass.
But right now, skinny.
We gotta get out of here. Well, then Clementine is like, Ben's my friend. I'm like, Ben is not a good friend to you, Clementine.
No.
You should not be voting for him to stay. He literally abandons you at any
But
moment.
don't forget, like, I saved Ben.
You did save Ben.
Did you? You didn't.
Definitely not the first time.
Oh shit.
But then, you go. Then you go up the watchtower thing, and then that's another big decision with Ben. Is do
Another
you let him
good
go?
good combat scene as well when you're going up the stairs. Tension. When you got to like pull your leg out of the stairs.
Oh yeah,
That's good.
You gotta
That's good.
Look up, look down, grab the leg.
And then Ben.
At the
God, do you know
tower.
how sad it is that Ben was holding on to Lee there, saying, "Yeah, just let me go. It's actually for the best of everyone if you let me go." Do you know how fucking sad that is?
That is.
But I saved Ben because I like Ben as a character.
I think that's why I let him go. Because he was like, let me go, and I was like, all right, sure.
Yeah, but I knew.
And then Kenny's there, like eyeing you at the ladder,
no,
just
he
like,
said,
come on.
Yeah, he is. But Ben says, "Oh yeah, you should let me go." But later on, you know when Ben dies inevitably, and he says, "I don't want to die. I don't want to die." I knew, like, there's no way. Like, obviously he's gonna say that. Oh, it's best to let me go. But he.
Oh yeah,
doesn't
everyone
die.
says
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Everyone says that
He
when
just-
they like.
he-
Yeah,
Ben did not want to die, and no one deserves to die in that way. Especially like Ben's just a. You know,
He's a teenager.
He's a kid, right? So if it's if this is an adult making these decisions, it's a completely different story. This is a naive and just dumb kid.
Dumb kid.
So
Although I couldn't stand him, I think he just went a bridge too far.
I saved him. I'm glad I saved him as well because I think some of his.
Yeah, I
Is
think
he-
him. I
yeah.
think him being saved is the better choice eventually, and especially
you get a really good scene.
and it completes Kenny's arc,
Yeah.
as we should say when we get to it. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh yeah, that scene's better.
you save. Yeah, if you save Ben Ollie, that's
brings him with
Ben
you.
die.
Drop him, yeah.
You go and then you escape and then whatever. But then when you get back to the house, that leads to like it's sort of your reward for saving Ben. Sort of putting up with his shit is that you get like a great scene
Yeah.
between Ben and Kenny.
Which was needed, by the way, because I don't think people were thinking about Ben and the fact that he lost so many people. But
No.
we just think of him as this kid who tags along and needs us to survive, and
Fucks
he's making
everything
bad
up.
decisions. You needed that scene, and I think it's brilliantly executed. You know,
Well, 'cause
the voice actor does so well.
because he talks about how like
I never got to say goodbye.
he never got to say goodbye to his family who he thinks he's like they're dead.
Yeah,
And he was like at a school and probably all of his friends.
all his friends died.
died.
His teacher died. His family died. He never got to see his family. Never
Mm.
got to say goodbye. And then Kenny, you can tell he's actually taken aback. Kenny doesn't continue with his sort of.
Because the whole time Kenny's like, you fucking worthless piece of shit.
His mean streak ends at that point because he's genuinely like, oh fuck.
He
why
sits
haven't I
back.
thought-" Which I think it's also for the people playing because I know for sure I wasn't thinking about Ben's past.
No.
At any moment, you concentrate on the shit he does. You don't think about
What happens?
what actually happened to him and why he's here.
But that is a good moment. And then I think doesn't it
That's basically his best scene of the entire. Well, his best scene.
Alright, we did that was the wrong episode.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to episode 4, because that's the beginning of that's like
It's
the
easy
beginning
to make
of episode 4.
mistakes.
What
There's a
can I
lot
say?
of content.
I
to
spilt
go.
like a whole can of Pepsi earlier,
Yeah.
but you know, we all make
This
mistakes.
is what happens.
But then so then you got and then you have to tell Clementine, because I think Molly is like someone in the group is like, you can't keep like saying that you're gonna find the parents when chances are they're probably not gonna be.
Who says that? Maybe Krista.
I think Krista or Molly.
Who knows? I don't think Molly gives a shit. If I'm honest.
No, she fucks
Molly
off.
doesn't give a fuck.
But yeah, you talk to Clementine and you have to tell her, oh, by the way, your parents are probably dead, and then she gets upset.
Yeah.
And then I think you sleep,
It's a gut wrenching scene.
and I think you watch.
You watch. Oh no, you fall asleep.
You fall
on the
asleep, yeah.
chair. You fall
And
asleep
then
on the chair, and then you
You
wake
up and she's gone, and then you're like,
Bam!
why is nobody keeping an eye on
This is
this
the second time. it happens.
child?
The second fucking time.
She fucking goes everywhere.
Come on,
all over the
Krista.
place.
Krista's meant to be the one who's like, "Are you sure you're doing good with her, Lee?
Yeah, and then
Where are you? Where are you?"
Probably with Omid.
Oh, with Omid. Yeah. You know what? I'll let that slide.
What about Ben?
I'll let
though?
that slide. But Ben, there's no excuse for Ben.
Fuck you, Ben.
This is Ben.
I saved your life. and
Ben's
you're
meant to
still
be
out there,
redeeming himself.
Ben. And he's not doing
He
it.
actually, the sad thing is, he actually tries to redeem himself. God, but he fails miserably.
Then you've got to look for Clementine. Then you find out that obviously she's gone missing, and then
you leave.
but then you get. I think that's where the bite happens, isn't it? That's where Lee gets bit because he goes out looking.
Immediately outside the gates, you have a walker and you have her little walkie-talkie next to it. So he goes to investigate, And kind of subtly they hint that something's going to happen to him because he's walking up slowly, the camera sort of homes in on him, and then Walker, bang, comes out of nowhere.
But you don't think, when you're in the moment, you don't think he's going to get bit?
Yeah, no, you just fight him, and they don't really... I think maybe you can see it, but like...
Well, no, because he looks at it and he goes...
Oh, afterwards.
And then the people, then like Kenny and the people come up, and then he hides it.
Yeah.
Or you can choose to reveal it or not.
Why would you not reveal it, though?
I guess not to...
That's so stupid.
I guess not to worry them.
Actually, you know what? Yeah, it's not stupid, actually. Because, one, it could worry them, or two, who knows how they're going to react.
Or they'd be like...
Let's kill him!
You can't go after... I mean, we know Kenny's history.
Yeah.
But maybe they'd
we do.
Maybe they'd be like, oh, we don't know if we want to... you know, we don't think we should go out to Clementine while you're like that.
But I'm glad I chose to tell them.
Yeah.
Oh, no, because if you don't tell them, you go by yourself, remember?
I'm pretty sure.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and then when you end up going by yourself, the cliffhanger for
he
that
cuts
episode.
his own arm off, doesn't he, as well?
Well, that isn't the cliffhanger.
No, but he does.
But that happens in episode 5.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, for the cliffhanger for episode 4 is the walkie-talkie, oh, I've got Clementine. And then you're about to say something, then it cuts off.
Yeah.
But what are your...
So I'd give that episode...
What would you say?
I really like it. I like Crawford a lot. I don't think it's the most interesting setting of all time, but it gives us an insight as to how different settlements run things, you know? You're going to have stricter places, and this is one of them. This is probably the strictest place that you come across the entire game, apart from maybe the Delta.
I think for me, this one's probably on the lower end of the spectrum.
Lower end?
Of the spectrum.
It's certainly not as good as episode 2.
Out of 5 episodes, it's on the lower end, which means it's probably like not...
I think that's probably because for me, personally... You know what, I'll say it now. Episode 2 and 5 are the best in season 1.
You think so?
Yeah, and then 3 and 4 are the 2 worst, but still good, obviously. You know, they're all still above 7 out of 10.
Mm.
You know, but it's just that episode 2 is...
They're 7.1s out of 10.
Episode 2 is 7.1, yeah. That's how it takes the cake. No, I'm kidding. Episode 2 is like a 9 for me.
Probably.
But look, yeah, episode 4 is still good. Episode 4 is still good.
Then from episode 4 we go to episode 5.
Okay, the one of the best.
Which is that's the final.
One of the best episodes of the entire Walking Dead game.
You
honestly.
think so?
Yeah.
Because
absolutely.
That opens with having to fucking saw off your arm, which is
That's a pretty bold way to start.
Yeah, it's a pretty like big impression. Though.
Yeah,
like, by the way, fucking. Or if you can.
You're not settling into stuff here.
Well, you don't have to saw off your arm, do you? Because you can just.
No, you don't have to, but because it's so unknown, it's kind of obviously I cut his arm off.
Yeah, I cut his arm off too because I was
because
like.
You don't know if it's gonna work or not, and this is Lee, man. You want to take.
And at the time, because you don't expect the character you're playing as to
die, yeah.
To die, so you think,
that's true. That is true, actually.
Let's cut off his arm.
You think they're invincible, so you choose whatever.
So like, fuck it, cut off his arm. And that whole scene is fucking.
And it makes sense.
Gruesome.
You know?
And then you walk. But
it's gruesome. But imagine if you've chosen
to go alone.
Lee does it by himself. That would be a
fucking nightmare.
Because I think Krista did it for me.
I want to say
Kenny did it for you, yeah, maybe.
Or when I was about to wake up, Kenny was like middle of doing it, and I'm like,
that's what Krista did for me.
And he was like, oh fuck.
That's Krista. That was what Krista was doing.
But no, God. And then
you got to cut it off.
So after that happens, you pry the elevator doors open and you go up the ladder.
Oh yeah, because you're in that weird sort of
morgue.
Underground. Oh yeah, the morgue. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you have to head up.
Sorry, my bad.
What happens after that? You remember it better than I do.
Mate, I actually don't. Because you know how you go out with whoever you choose. When you come back and then you obviously go out to Clementine again, it's sort of my memory of that is sort of blurry. What I can gather from it is with the people you end up deciding to go with at the end of episode 4. You go with them to a rooftop because I remember a scene where Lee has to use a ladder to get to a bell. Do you remember that?
Yes.
But I can't remember. I think that was obviously to bring, obviously, trying to.
I think there were walkers. I think there were like walkers surrounding them,
trying to get them to get somewhere else.
We've got to, yeah.
But I can't remember why they went back, or maybe I think they maybe got valuable intel as to where she was.
Wait, I think they were also like, we need to prepare. We need to make sure the boat is.
It's not, yeah, and I mean it's not that big of a deal because at the end of the day you come back anyway. Yeah. But you just get more. I think you get more hints about Krista if you chose to go with her.
Oh yeah, because then you use the bell to scare off the walkers. Then you come back to be like, okay, it's the boat.
Yeah, and I mean during all that, like Lee's just getting progressively worse.
Yeah.
Himself, like he blacks out sometimes.
Yeah.
And stuff. But he comes, but yeah, they get back to the thing,
And then that's when there's like we talked about earlier with the Ben.
Oh yeah. Well, it gets revealed that the boat was taken
by Vernon
and his group, the cancer survivors.
Well, yeah, because there was a conversation earlier in episode 4 that we forgot to mention, but that's the one where he's like, "Oh, I think I should take Clementine off your hands."
Oh yeah.
And then we're like, "No, don't."
And yeah, I think I said, "Walk away, Vernon, man. Get the fuck out of here.
Walk away, man.
Walk away, Vernon."
And then
it gets hurt.
And then Vernon repays you by nicking the boat.
He does it anyway. He's a prick.
He's a prick.
And
then that's when the conversation between Ben and Kenny happens. That we
kind of like him as a mini villain, though, to be honest.
A little bit, yeah.
Because he's just like
he's just a prick.
Subtly an arsehole.
He's just a prick.
He presents himself as this nice guy,
but he's a prick.
But he does bad things.
And so then that happens, and then I think
you get the great Ben scene.
But then the house gets attacked by walkers.
Oh yeah, it does. Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure like they've gone to the belt, and then they're coming back, and then you get like that. That whole segment when you're in the house and there's like the siege. I think that's pretty good.
Oh, and you slowly have to get higher up in the house.
Yeah, and you have to go. You go get weapons. You go get.
Oh, and you know the scene with like how many bullets you got.
Yeah.
And then they will tell you.
And you have a finite amount of bullets where you've got to go like bang. You've got to make the shots count.
Oh, it's one of those things. Like season 1, 2, and 4 are so good at sort of bringing light to supplies, ammo, resources, food, water, how much have we got. It makes you feel the pressure, because you and these characters, they haven't got that many bullets, they're running out of food all the time, and it's really good at sort of putting you in the moment,
Yeah. Well, like that whole
example.
That whole segment, and then they go up into the attic.
Yeah, they slowly get pushed upwards
to the stairs. Yeah.
And you get the scene where they make this slight barricade in the hallway, and the shooting scene's so good. Eventually, they have to get into the attic where the boy was killed earlier.
And they sit there, they have like a drink, and then Kenny is like, "Hey, I might." He goes kind of weird, and he's like, "Lee, I'm gonna have to maybe kill you."
Yeah, they get into it with the head. With the head.
He's like, "Listen, man, I'm gonna have to maybe kill." And it's like, Kenny, what are you on, bro?
Yeah.
What's going on here? I know because I'm bitten, but like, also take a step back.
Take a step back. But then you get
the throwing of the head reveals the
the.
Oh, but even before then, that scene, there's like the hint. There's probably the biggest hint that gave it away for me is where Krista is pregnant.
She starts drinking. That's after though. He throws the head.
And then then they figure out that there's like a drywall
because it's weak,
so they can smash through it with like the fucking battering ram.
And then you get one of the examples that Telltale is so good at, which is those scenes where you're just talking. You're in a small group of people, you talk to each other, you get to learn about the character, and Telltale's so good at that, man.
They got it.
I fucking love those scenes so much. You know this. They're so good. And yeah, you get to talk to them.
Plus the alcohol.
Apart from Ben. Ben's like in the corner depressed, as you would be.
In fairness, yeah.
He's had a rough time. A lot of it down to his own actions. But
that's true.
We'll let it slide.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? We won't let it slide, but we understand it.
But then then you see the couple who's like committed suicide, and it's like, oh Christ. This is
after
funny.
they made it through, yeah.
This is fun. Love a little bit of this. And then you make it through, and then that's when the the thing breaks.
Ben, my guy.
Well, at least for us, that was where Ben, he was like, "Oh, I'm going to jump from the balcony. I'm going to jump from this little balcony to."
Oh, you knew he was fucked, right? Because
because it was
the
like
camera
shaking.
thing, when they show the camera in the rail slowly shaking. You knew it was up for him at that point.
Then he fucking falls down,
and then he gets one of the worst fucking deaths.
I know.
In terms of pain factor, in the whole series, the whole fucking franchise, that death is so awful to watch.
Yeah.
But, and they make it even because you think he's just broken a few bones because he's fallen a few stories, right?
And then Lee and Kenny come down and he's fucking
you move
impaled.
the box and he's just like he's fucking impaled.
He's like, oh, does it look bad?
Oh my god, yeah. He's like, I'm sure it's okay, and then he grabs the thing and pulls. Oh my goodness.
And then there's an option where Lee can just be like, just yank him off of it.
Oh man, Ben. It's almost like it's hard because you save him and you get that great scene later in episode 5. And you just get a bit more of Ben. But either way, he dies an awful death because he either drops into a horde of walkers or he just gets impaled and that is just arguably worse. So,
I know, but then that's where I think this is what I mentioned earlier when I said that like saving Ben is probably it's good to complete Kenny's arc, like I said earlier, because that's when
it does, yeah.
The moment when the walkers come in and then like Kenny sort of like stops and Lee's like, oh, are we gonna go, what are we gonna do? And then Kenny shuts him out.
Kenny takes responsibility
and he's like, I'm gonna help this kid.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like him overcoming his hatred of him and he's like, I'm gonna take responsibility.
That's a great moment. It's a great moment.
He's like, listen, we're gonna get you out of here, kid, or whatever.
It's a moment where his arc sort of comes full circle.
God,
and
I thought that motherfucker
and he
died.
makes up for him. Yeah.
I swear to God, season 1 when I played it for the first time.
It perfectly completes his arc for now.
Yeah, for now.
For where you think he's at.
And it's
that's fucking sad. But I remember. Do you remember when I played this with you? I did make a statement where I said you didn't see him die.
You didn't see him die, guys.
You tried your hardest. I think you were sort of like, oh yeah, but it's unlikely. Blah, blah, blah. I didn't know he'd come back, but
I definitely thought it was their first time I played it. I
thought it was a bit suspicious they didn't show it. They sort of did that ambiguous thing where. Where they didn't show. Well,
because they just saw him slowly backing off.
You heard a gunshot
like,
as well, I think. But I think that was him killing Ben.
Yeah.
But
so at least Ben didn't. Well, at least
that's
Ben
true.
Didn't
but
get
he did have to go through the pain.
He did get stabbed, like impaled.
God, man. So Kenny leaves. That's a fucking sad moment because Kenny's been he's been there since episode 1.
And I think even if
other than Clem, he's the only person who's there from episode 1.
Yeah, still who's
apart
been
from Lee, obviously.
He's been there.
Yeah.
But, like, and I think even if you don't get on with him from most of the season, there's still like a sense of he's been there since the beginning.
Oh yeah,
like even if we don't get on,
even if you don't, that's why he's so great, man. Because even if you don't like him, you don't want him to leave.
No.
This is Kenny, man. It's
like we don't have a lot of people left.
You know, you've been at this point in the game. How long have you been spending time with Kenny? Like
hours and hours.
10 hours nearly. You're always sad to see Kenny go. Obviously, we know what happens, but
yeah, he got real lucky.
Real lucky. Real lucky.
He probably just escaped through the sewers. I think that's my theory. Like he like just fucking opened up the grate and just like ran off. Just like I guess I get out of here. Whatever. But then he fucking
Yes, he dies.
Then after that note,
he dies.
He dies. And then after that note, you go, and then Krista and Momida kind of like.
You get to you're on the rooftop, right? And you see the hotel.
Well, that's when they sort of go like, oh, what's like the final plan? And then, well, I think we said Lee was like, I want you to
look after her.
Well, I want you to look after her, and I want
come
you
up with
to
a
meet
meeting
up with
place, yeah.
Some random field, I guess. Regardless.
No, I think you choose.
But then later at the end of episode 5, in like the teaser for season 2,
field,
she's just in a random field.
Oh yeah, true. No matter what, she's in that field.
Yeah. And then so Lee goes up on his own, and that whole build up to the hotel is so fucking cool. Where he's got like the cleaver.
You know what's crazy, right?
He's just going through a crowd like.
I actually think this scene where how like if you keep Lee's arm, I actually think that is cooler.
Oh, because he's holding like a glass.
Yeah, he's fucking like.
Oh,
that's so sick, man! I kind of wish I had that, but obviously I'm still glad I chose to cut the arm off.
Like it gives you some of that like this whole thing so far has been very depressing. Let's give you like a badass moment of a dude just like fucking killing a bunch of them going.
All
that
matters to him is Clem at this point.
Yeah,
all he's got left, and he fucking grips that.
And it makes sense that he can go through that crowd kind of effortlessly because he's been bitten. He's like in the motion of turning. Yeah, even if they barely even pay attention to him when he's fucking murdering them.
If he gets bit, then it doesn't matter to him.
So he's just like, I'm gonna.
So it does make sense. And also, we know now that if you get walker guts all over you, they can't tell.
Yeah.
And he had loads of it because of the fighting. So it does make sense. And then he makes it up there.
God, I think that final confrontation with the stranger is really good. And then you've got with the stranger, and then obviously, because there's that moment.
Well, you get the reveal that he's the guy you stole from.
Yeah, later in episode 2, where it's like, you have like, this is literally immediately after you fucking kill those guys, and you're like, we have nothing.
I completely forgot that was in episode 2,
Yeah. Well, so much happens, bro.
Yeah, because you're just constantly thinking about St. John's.
Yeah. Because that's like the highlight of it. So,
and although it's a big decision at the time, you go 2 or 3 episodes without it coming back up.
Well, because the decision to steal from a random car feels like nothing compared to like what you just witnessed.
Yeah,
like, a bunch of cannibal brothers coming to St. John's.
I stole that shit, man.
I didn't.
Because if it was real life, you'd have to.
And I was like, the car lights are still on, so
and even though I always want to be on Clementine's side, I still always steal. If
you taught Clementine to steal, and I respect that.
In the apocalypse, you got to take what you got to take.
You got to take what you can take.
You got to survive out there, man.
I guess so.
Exactly.
Well, then you've got the So then it moves on from. Obviously, he's like, oh yeah, listen, and then he has his wife's head in that bag.
Yeah, he does.
Remember that?
Yeah. How could I not forget that?
No, because he talks to it. He's like, hey, honey, what do you think we should do with the girl?
Just a mortifying sight.
Yeah, that dude's fucking.
That ends up killing him in the end because it means he's off guard when Clementine.
Oh yeah, gets out of the room and then Lee's like, go and grab
whatever it is, whatever you
the bottle or something, and like smashes it over his head. Then there's the fight.
Yeah.
Thank God. I didn't even know that you couldn't. I'm pretty sure there's a way where you don't kill. If you don't kill the stranger in time, Clementine kills him. So she like
So,
picks
I've
up a
never
gun
seen
and
that.
fucking kills him, and I'm like, Jesus Christ! It's probably better off that I did kill him,
Yeah.
just so that she wouldn't have to
Don't
shoot
get an
him.
AJ situation.
An AJ, pull an AJ.
Yeah.
And then so yeah, then that whole scene where you were just like with Clementine, and she kind of comes to the realization that maybe her parents just aren't here, and that's even before she sees them. She's like, we just need to go. It's crying. It's
Yeah, because it was
fucking
her
sad.
hope that her parents were alive that even got her talking to the stranger in the first place.
Yeah, and then she just figures out that the stranger this whole time has just been...
Like Clementine of season 3, 4, 2 even wouldn't they wouldn't entertain someone telling them that their parents
No.
are. But you got to remember she's 9 years old.
She's young.
She's still clinging to that hope, as any kid would,
Mm.
because you're still trying to fully grasp what the hell's happening to the world.
God, yeah.
And so she still thinks. So it makes it like, you can obviously forgive Clem for that.
Fucking Christ, yeah. And then that's when, because yeah, you figure out that that he isn't being noticed by the walkers, because when he opens the door and there's
That
a
walker
zombie
just
there,
stood there,
it doesn't
yeah.
do anything. So he's like, oh, I guess I should just
That
cover
was
you
the
in
beginning of a repetitive
guts. Of that whole thing, like every single way they solve a problem in The
I
Walking
think it happened
Dead
every
is-
season, right? Because in season 3, Harvey did it.
Yeah, season 2, it happens when they leave
Oh
Carver's,
yeah.
and then season 4,
4, save AJ.
yeah,
Oh, and even when they're about to
when
go
they're
on the
blending
boat.
in with the walkers, yeah. And then like, and that whole thing, and then having to like cover Clementine in like blood, and it's so fucking sad, and she's crying, and it's like, Jesus.
I do
Christ.
love how each season, Clem gets like less grossed out by it. In
I
the
mean,
first
yeah.
season, she's literally like squint, like she's like her body's like tensing up
Yeah.
from that. Season 2, she's more cool with it. In season 3, she's the one who tells the group about it, and in season 4, she's literally just taking control. She's so like nonchalant.
She literally,
She's the one who
literally
fucking can't.
just grabs it and just goes, oh,
yeah,
fuck it.
I love that.
Yeah.
Good character development.
Yeah, good for her, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, she was traumatized by that, but, you know,
What, in season 1?
traumatized by the whole thing into becoming like a stoic.
Oh,
boy
yeah,
who just
yeah.
cover herself in guts.
But it made her the best survivor
of the show,
whole
probably.
game, yeah.
Of the game, yeah.
game.
And then,
Universe.
so yeah, then she fucking walk out the hotel, and that's when you get the, the reveal. Oh fuck, her parents.
Her parents just somehow turned into walkers and stayed right next to each other for months.
That's true. Yeah, I guess that's convenient. But...
No, but
it's good for the moment.
Yeah, it's still a good scene.
And then you have Lee passes out, like in that moment.
Do you know what I don't get? Yeah,
How she-
you know how
yeah.
you know how he passes out,
Mm.
and then she drags him into the thing,
Mm.
and then he wakes up and he's like pissed with
Mm.
Clementine because there's like no easy
Why did you
way
drag
out.
me?
So
That
like,
couldn't have.
bitch, come on, man.
Yeah. She fucking managed.
That
to
was like
drag
the
you there,
bravest
bro,
thing Clem had done
in that whole thing.
until this point.
Yeah, she dragged you in, and then I think everybody knows the last section where you've got to, and that whole thing is a lot longer than I remember it being, because when you replay it, it's like, oh fuck, you gotta, and then you gotta like teach her, you gotta grab the keys, Clem, you gotta grab his keys, you gotta kill him, and then she gets attacked, and then that comes to the final.
Is that the saddest scene in the whole of the game? Whole game, I'm talking all seasons. I don't think it is, but a lot of people do.
I think when I was younger, I definitely cried at that.
Yeah.
I remember crying specifically because I was like, holy shit, this is too much for me.
I mean, I was with you when I first saw it, so I didn't cry, man.
No, I don't cry, man. I don't cry. But
Real men don't cry.
But I was like 12 when I saw that first, and I was not emotionally prepared
Yeah.
for that kind of level of that kind of thought exercise.
And you did the minority thing.
which is to leave him.
Yeah.
I left him.
I'm kind of glad that I shot him though.
I couldn't shoot him.
Yeah, but I couldn't. I get your reasoning though, because Clem is a 9-year-old little girl.
Yeah.
And you're telling her to fucking murder the one person she's looked up to since the
I
apocalypse
mean,
died.
And I know
But at the same time, I still think that shooting her is the better decision in the long term, because it means that Clem's got this closure that he's not a walker. I mean, I guess it works for you in the James thing, when James trying to like tell you his philosophy.
when they start introducing the idea that they're maybe sentient, like that kind of that sort of throws a wrench into the works of, well, that's sort of what I thought about it, because I'm like, he's chained up, he can't hurt anyone, and maybe there's a chance he's still conscious a little bit, and I'd rather that than he just have infinite blackness of death. But then again, if he got out and murdered people, he probably wouldn't want that to happen.
No.
But that whole place is full of zombies.
That place is a fucking shit show, honestly.
I know.
Savannah is just fucked.
Miserable.
That's nuts.
But no, then that ends with that decision
Wow.
that traumatized an entire generation of preteens.
Maybe the biggest decision of the whole game. It might be.
It isn't the biggest in that it has like it changes the story the most, but it's the one that constantly keeps
It's the
getting
one that you
referred
remember.
back to.
Yeah.
And it's probably even people who don't
Most impactful, most remembered.
and even people who haven't played the game know about that moment
Yeah, because it's been shared around.
because it's like it's like the big moment. And like and then you obviously get that little end bit where it's like, oh look, she ends up with Christian, which is a nice bit of like.
I love
this
that they
didn't
don't make
end
it obvious,
horribly.
no, but I do love that they don't make it obvious.
What, just in case
I
it
love-
was too random.
No, but I do love that it's just like
Those you see the
the
silhouettes.
the silhouettes of them. I love that ending, and I don't get how people had to wait fucking years for the next. Like you.
No,
had to.
in fairness, I checked the wait time. It was like just about a year
What, from
between
season 1 to 2.
season 1 to 2.
You should wait. When did it? What year did?
Season 1 is 2012. Season 2 2013.
Oh shit! I thought season 2 was 2014. You know.
No, well it eventually ended in 2014, because you know the release.
episodically released.
But yeah, it started, and it's like
even if, man, I'm so
Waiting that long.
thankful that I got to play it all in one
play it
go.
all at once. Yeah, but
I
God,
wouldn't have been able to wait, and also just waiting would, like, I'd still obviously be so riveted by.
yeah, but
what's
you wouldn't be
going on.
able to go into it like
Yeah,
bam,
yeah,
like that, like
with,
oh shit,
with the memory
fresh,
of everything that's happened,
like
yeah,
fresh in
yeah.
your mind.
Exactly.
We've got,
That's
that's
a wrap
season
up.
1.
That's season 1.
only took us almost 3. What's that? 2.5 hours.
2 hours. Yeah, 2.5 hours.
What are our thoughts on it overall?
So I'm not gonna give my ranking of season 1 with the other ones until the end, right?
Yeah.
But everyone knows season 1. It's the most iconic season. Absolutely, definitely the most iconic.
Well,
the
it's-
one that people.
It's the one everyone knows.
And also more people have played season 1 than any other season.
yeah.
You have to be like a.
No one played season 3 or 4.
I know a lot of people who played season 1 and just didn't.
Continue
play the
afterwards.
rest.
I don't know how you would be able to. If you played through all of season 1 and you didn't even like have interest in
I don't
season
know.
2, like
maybe
what?
it's the weight or something.
Maybe
but
they just liked.
it's the most iconic. It's got episode 2, which is one of my favorite episodes of the entire thing.
I think 2 and 5 are
Two
like.
and 5 are 2 of the best episodes of the whole
And I think
series.
I think it does. Yeah, have an Oreo, you son of a bitch.
Thanks.
Put it right in the mic. But it does
ASMR.
stumble in certain places. Yeah, ASMR Oreo opening. But it does stumble in certain places where I'd probably say like the sort of more of the puzzle elements, because I don't think they fully figured out like what people wanted from this type of game.
Yeah, I mean,
And like some of the puzzle stuff works, like some of the more open areas which
Yeah.
are that are tied directly to character relationships work. But like I said, the stuff with the train, the stuff with the pharmacy, it's not bad.
there's slightly
but, like,
too much of it.
It kind of throws off the pace.
I actually think
the other season is just like
Yeah, I think
Bang, bang, bang.
comparatively, the only other season that does that sort of style where there's more puzzles and stuff is season 4. But I think season 4 does it better because, first of all, there's less of it and it's more sporadic. But there's not. I guess it is a criticism, but at the same time, I think people like that sometimes. They like the independency of problem solving.
Well, like I said, I like the open areas where you can just talk to people,
yeah,
and I think that's something that
no, I
they
think,
maybe missed a little bit, which didn't get like superly expanded on as much.
I think season 4 is maybe. I mean, sorry, not season 4. Season 1 is. It's hard to. It's less. I'm trying to phrase it the right way, but because of the amount of scenes where you're just wandering around.
There's a lot more downtime. There's a lot more like kind of.
It's less hooking immediately than the other seasons.
It was a little more of a slow burn.
It's definitely a slow burner.
But like I still think, with all this being said, the quality is so high that like even a criticism is like not like this is an objectively bad thing.
What I will say, I think
it's more a personal taste thing.
in terms of just the characters who are in season 1, they're up there with the best as well.
Yeah, they
Some of the
did it-
most well thought out characters, interesting characters, the characters where when they're on the screen you're genuinely like engaged in what's going on.
Like Lily, Kenny, Lee are like those
Lily,
are like iconic.
And the thing is,
Clementine,
some of the characters are
fucking Clementine.
short-lived, but they're so great. Like Larry is a great character because he pisses you off so much.
And even Ben is like a
Or
good.
Carly, who you really like and
Gets
you're
fucked over.
really upset when she dies. Ben, the troubled kid, but you still like him because, well, no, a lot of people don't, to be fair, but
Yeah.
he's, he gets a reaction out of you.
And you're rewarded for giving him
You know,
the benefit of the doubt.
It's hard to have interesting characters, but it's also hard to have interesting characters in a variety of ways. Like there's so many different types of characters. You've got the hardened, shelled characters like Lily. Then you have the naive liability in Ben. And it's just so good. And it's not even like they prioritize some of these side characters. They're all well thought out. They're all no character feels like they shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
You agree?
Yeah, I think my only the character I'm just not really a fan of.
Oh, who?
The only one I'm not really a fan of is Molly. It's probably the only one that I'm like kind of mixed on.
I don't.
But like she serves her purpose as a character. Like she's there to like kind of explain Crawford. But like there isn't. She only shows it for one episode, and it feels like. And then you get that scene where you're with her in the garage with Lee, and it's like, is that supposed to be developing something? But then she leaves. Like almost like only a few minutes after that she leaves, so it's like, what was the point of?
It is.
I would have rather done that with like another character.
They almost tease you by hinting that she's going to stay with your group and change who she is.
And I get what they're going for. They're going for like not everybody sticks around. Like
Not
people just move out of people leave.
I don't think it's much like I don't like a character because I like the sort of her backstory and learning about what went down.
I just feel like especially
I'm more disappointed.
Well, I feel like especially by the time season 2 comes around, they do like that trope of kind of like the
character comes leaves
with like the sister. They do it better with Jane.
Oh yeah, they do absolutely.
So I feel like that makes Molly look.
Molly was almost practice for Jane.
Well, yeah, she was kind of like the test run for that type of character, and then Jane they kind of nailed it on the head with.
Oh yeah,
with that.
Did.
But like, God, yeah. I mean, let's do official episode ranking for season 1.
Oh shit. Okay, it's tough though, man. It's tough. I think for me, I'd go with. I'm gonna go with episode 502 as the best. 502, but I can't pick one. I feel like part of me wants to say 2, but at the same time, how can you say not 5 because it's got that scene in
Well,
it?
here's the thing.
You know what I mean?
The thing.
Is
like,
that criminal to say that episode 2 is better than 5?
I don't think so. I think it's interesting because 2 is almost like a little self-contained adventure.
Even though
because like it doesn't have
show up again.
Well, yeah, it's because 2 is like it could stand on its own as like a standalone episode. If nobody ever had played any other Walking Dead stuff, they could play that on its own. Well, season 5 is good because it's important. Episode 5, sorry. Season 5.
Yeah.
Episode 5 is important because it's such an anchor point for everything that comes after it. It's like the big thing.
I think for that sake, I'll put episode 5 first.
I think I'd put 2 first.
Okay, I thought you were gonna put 5 first. Shit.
I think I'll put. Well, in terms of if I'm gonna go back to it and replay it, even though I enjoy both, I probably enjoy. Then again, bugger.
It's because I think I enjoyed episode 2 more, but the finale of 5 is so good.
Yeah, but like the emotional stakes in 5 as well, because like that's when you obviously get Kenny's.
But the thing is, are we gonna rank these based on emotion, or are we gonna rank them based on what they are and how entertaining they are?
Well, I think it's how much you enjoyed it, like how much.
You know what?
Emotional engagement you had in it.
But emotional engagement would be 5.
But like part of
then
these
entertainment
games,
would be 2.
But like part of these games, I mean, I guess it's what you value
find
more
a balance, right?
Is the entertainment or like the emotional, like kind of like the emotional payoffs.
Fuck it, man. I'll go. Fuck it, yeah. I'll go 2 first, and that's what my heart says.
I'm gonna go 5 first.
We just switched.
I switched. Yeah, I'm switching.
I'll go 2 first.
I'll go 5. I'm going to go 5 2.
Yeah, you do yours first.
I'm going to do 5 first, then 2, then. Oh, this is tough.
I know, because 1, 3, and 4 are quite
They're
similar.
all sort of on the same level of quality.
Yeah.
Because like they have the good character moments, and they both have sort of like the more puzzle focused aspects of gameplay.
Yeah.
Which I'm not as big of a fan on, but they've all got like good character moments.
I think I know what I'd go.
Do you know what? I think I'm going to go 5 2 3 1 4.
Okay, so yours is the exact same as mine, apart from the third. Actually, no. Okay, no, that's not. I'll say mine. Mine goes 2 5 3 4 1. I think overall, every episode's a 7+ out of 10.
Yeah,
They're all good.
Even though the first episode is one of the weaker ones, it still had to be good enough to hook us in.
Yeah.
Like when we played it for the first time,
Like,
it still had to be good enough to go, I want to see where this is going. And I think I would put episode 1 over 4 just because I got to give it credit for establishing everything and like the opening hook. And I also have nostalgia for it because I've played the first episode of The Walking Dead so many fucking times over the years. Like over a decade, I've been like, okay, every time I go back, I at least always finish the first episode.
I mean, they're all brilliant. Like season 1, I think season 1 is majority the fan favorite. If you ask most people,
It would be, yeah.
It's season 1.
And I don't,
whether it be for nostalgic purposes or other reasons.
But I honestly wouldn't even strongly disagree with that. I think that's a fair.
Yeah, we'll get to the overall rankings at the end, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, that's season 1.
That's season 1. Oh man, do we rank each season? Oh no, we'll do it at the end, obviously. At the end.
Yeah, we should do that at like the end when we at the end of like season 4.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of anything final to say.
Just thank you for listening. If anybody's listening to this, probably no one.
It's crazy, right? If someone's made it to 2 hours and 47 minutes in,